have their work cut out when they come to Charlotte. Waltrip, Gant, Labonte, Earnhardt. Battling 3 wide. Earnhardt coming to the bottom.
Again, they're going down in turn 3 right here, and you just had to back out. Earnhardt trying to get 3 wide. You can't do it there.
Here's the leader. It's Jimmy Spencer going in the wall. The leader is in the wall.
Again, it looked like something broke on the car. The car made a direct right turn right out the outside wall. Hopefully, Spencer can get out of this thing without very much injury. He really took a lick.
Jimmy Spencer walking away, and he is not happy. Struggling through the field, number 17, Waltrip. Trouble up in turn 3.
Boy, the worst thing could possibly happen. Set still, and the car hit right in the door. Shauna Robinson, hopefully she's okay. A lot of damage to these race cars.
Number 14, Terry Labonte, trying to hold the lead, but here comes Earnhardt to the inside.
I tell you what, Earnhardt started very rear of this field, and now he's finally taking the lead away from Labonte.
It's Dale Earnhardt going into first place. You know what that was all about? The battle for the 35th starting position.
Yeah, that was a last chance race to get the last 10 positions in today's Busch race.
Fall afternoon in Charlotte, North Carolina. Great to have you with us today for the Busch Grand National Series at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the All-Pro Auto Parts 300. But they say the South on the fall and the Saturday afternoon is football country, but here it is certainly stock car racing country. More than 85,000 fans have made their way to Charlotte Motor Speedway on a beautiful Saturday. Temperature in the mid-70s, just a hint of humidity at 59%. Winds out of the west, very mild at 8 miles an hour at this point. A beautiful, clear Saturday afternoon for 300 miles of NASCAR stock car racing. Great to have you with us on TBS today. I'm Rick Benjamin in the Stanley Pitt Communications Center. We'll keep track of all the standings and all the stories all afternoon long here today. We've got a lot to tell you about this afternoon. Hope you'll stick with us throughout the entire coverage today. Lots of surprises in this starting lineup today. Some drivers deep in the field who we don't normally expect to see there, and a few surprises up front as well. In fact, the lead row today made up of one driver we expect to see toward the head of the class in the Busch Grand National race. Another driver we don't see up there very often. The editor of Stock Car Racing magazine, Dick Berggren, is on the lead row. Dick?
Yeah, and on the lead row is the defending series champion, Joe Nemechek, with a 174-mile-an-hour run. That puts you on the outside pole, but you haven't won a race this year. Is today your day?
I hope so. You know, the Dentine Synthos Chevrolet has been running good. We tested good here. We practiced good, qualified, outside front row. I'm happy, and the car is totally awesome.
And the guy that's going to start inside on the pole is a real surprise. This is his third Busch Series pole, and every time he's won one of these things, he set a new track record, including for today. 33-year-old Bobby Donner, how are you going to keep those other 43 guys behind you?
Well, the track record was a real surprise, and we're just going to do the best we can. The speedways are where my experience is a little limited, so I just want to try to stay out of trouble and get a good finish for the DeWalt Performance car.
He hasn't got a win this year. He hopes today's it.
Donner and Nemechek will make up the lead row, but as we take a look back, some drivers deep in the field we don't normally expect to see there. Ernie Urban will start way back in the 6th row today. A little further back, Bill Elliott at the 10th row. Ken Schrader has to go from the 14th row. Hermie Sadler, who won his first Busch race last week, way back in the 15th row. And a little further back, a guy who's changing positions for us today. Our Randy Pemberton is on the injured list. He's going to be in the garage area. Johnny Hayes, I know you're way back there somewhere. Who have you found?
Found my old buddy Dale Earnhardt. We can't even see the front from here. How do you plan to get up there? Where?
Start finish line.
Yeah, is that what you're looking for?
Well, I got a Dodge on the inside of this one, a Dodge on the outside of that one, and move under this. Heck, I don't know. I'm just going to play it by here.
Well, I'd hate to be those 34 guys in front of you. I'm sure everybody's going to be looking in that mirror.
Yeah, it's cool. I think it'll be a good race. We got our car working pretty good, so we'll see what we do with them. I get up halfway up, that'd be better than not.
Yeah.
Johnny, I got to ask him a question while you got him there. Ask him, you know, he's had a little bit of trouble all week long with the car. Ask him if he's got it running better, or was he just hustling it yesterday?
Neil Bonnet's talking about you.
All right, yeah.
Neil Bonnet said your car hadn't been running any good, and you tried everything in the world. Do you have it running any better? This is your old buddy, Neil Bonnet.
Well, we won the heat race yesterday. I mean, you know, weren't we looking better? We were looking good, weren't we?
Tell him I thought that was all driver.
Yesterday afternoon, so it wouldn't look bad, so I feel good. So,
Does it hurt you?
Strategy.
Does it hurt you? Neil's taking some shots at you right on national TV. I mean,
he's bucking from a ride at Atlanta. He's hoping the points battle is so tight that we go to Atlanta, he gets to drive the car.
he did a great job in your car last time, didn't he?
Well, that car really wasn't a great car because it ran second at Daytona, so it really wasn't that good a car. So I didn't really feel that bad that he tore it all up. I'm just glad he didn't get hurt, but he had some fun. He just, you know, hadn't learned to fly airplane yet.
Thanks.
Some fun you had, Bonnet. About 194 into the wall. Here this afternoon, we're getting set. It's 300 miles. Grand National competition on TBS. With Neil Bonnet, I'm Ken Squires. Stay with us for all the action.
Way at Charlotte, Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, and Mark Martin battled down to the wire at the Mellow Yellow 500. Live at 1 Eastern Sunday exclusively on TBS.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Bill Fidel here in the tower. I'd like to ask you, please, at all times, during the interval of the All-Pro Auto Parts 300 this afternoon, please stay clear of the wheel pit. That's all along the front straightaway. Stay behind the yellow line. Stay in your seat, if at all possible. When you're walking down along the asphalt area, stay behind that yellow line at all times. No throwing of any cans, chicken balls, or any other articles will be permitted at the Speedway today. If you're caught doing so, you will be removed from your seat, removed from the Speedway, and your day at the All-Pro Auto Parts 300 will be over. So if you finish your canned drink or you're finished with a chicken leg or something like that, just drop it down right where you're sitting and enjoy the All-Pro Auto Parts 300, which is just moments away.
44 cars are at the ready, and we're just about ready for the command from Chuck Ryder, standing at the start-finish line here on the mile-and-a-half Charlotte Motor Speedway. That'll put it all in motion.
You always hear driver introduction. That was fan introduction. No chicken bones in the air today. Drop the cans on the ground.
Real stuff. Michael Waltrip. Further back in there, is that Bill Elliott getting set? No, that's Tracy Leslie, the former ARCA champ.
There's Earnhardt. He's got his work cut out for him starting in the rear back there.
35th. We'll be following him up through the field. Came from a long way back to win that last chance qualifier yesterday. We're just about set to send this field off. They're starting just a bit later than anticipated. Tremendous crowd is gathering here today. Mark Martin's going to take you for a ride this afternoon. He's starting 5th on the field. He's had a great success thus far this season with this car, that Winn-Dixie machine. And Larry Pearson is going to give us a ride today as well. There is a temporary hold on the start. Doesn't happen very often at Charlotte, Neil, but it's the case today as we settle down here for 300 miles of competition. This is the race with that 15-minute intermission halfway through it. Gives them all a chance to do a little adjusting, try to get those cars back up to complete snuff. As we settle down now, I think we're just there. Taking a look at the starting lineup in just a moment.
All the drivers getting ready. It takes a while. They have driver introduction. Time they get to their cars, they got a good bit of work to do nowadays.
And they had to clear pit road. Now here you see the race analysis. Over $400,000 at stake today, and that's a big field with 44 in the mile-and-a-half. 141 miles an hour. It goes back to 1983 when Sam Ard set the record. Remember Sam winning those 10 races and having such a great year? Sammy Ard set the record for this mile-and-a-half. He was not a Winston Cup or a Grand National driver of the old school. He was right out of the sportsman ranks in those days. And what a runner.
Ken, you were talking about that $400,000 purse. There's also a lot of incentives up today. $50,000 bonus for any pole winner the last 10 races. This Speedway puts up a lot of incentives.
Command has just been given to fire those engines, and we're set for business.
I tell you what, they fire these things are a little, well, they fire the time bombs.
Mark Martin gets set. Straps on the gloves. Larry Pearson ready for a go. He's got a ride for next year. He'll be back. Two-time Grand National champion, wanted back-to-back. Field comes to life.
I tell you what, Ken, they put, I said little small time bombs. They put 17 engines in on Thursday, 12 in on Friday, so they're going through a bunch of them.
There you see the number 4 having a bad moment just as we get set to go.
Jimmy Hensley driving the 4 car this week.
First time he's been back in Grand National this year. You see the banking, 24 degrees. That backstretch braked up at 5. Same on the front straightaway with his dog leg down the front straight. Backstretch at 1,360 feet and about 1,500 feet here in the main straightaway. Fastest part of the track going into turn 1. And there you see part of the throng gathered on this Saturday. Tomorrow, it's the Mellow Yellow 500, which you'll be seeing on TBS. Hope you'll be with us at 1 o'clock. What a great rollout that's going to be with a rookie on the pole. Well, Randy Pemberton's taken a new position here for the race. He's back in the garage area today. Got himself an injury that's going to call for an operation come Monday morning from Dr. Petty here in Charlotte, but he wanted to be out here covering the action. Cover the action he will indeed. There'll be a lot of it back in his location. Here's Randy.
Well, I might have picked the wrong place, guys. I'm in the Busch Grand National garage area, and as you can see, rather desolate right now. But Neil Bonnet, you were talking about before, they've gone through some engines. Well, if they go through them today, this is where they're going to end up. Whether it's an engine or a crash, we're going to talk to some drivers and some crew members, find out how long they'll be back there, when they can fix their car to get back out. So we'll be giving you the do's and don'ts from the back here in the Busch Grand National garage area. We'll report to you a little later on.
How's the back feel?
It doesn't feel too bad. A little numbness in the foot, but I got myself a little cart down here I can ride around on, so looking forward to joining the broadcast.
See his cart, Neil?
Yeah, it's got a little hot rod there, a little battery charge job.
All right, the field is now rolling out as we get set for this preliminary event. There's you talk about a racing unit. That's one right there, let me tell you. Have a good day, Randy. Let's take a look right now at the starting lineup for this All-Pro 300 Busch Grand National race. Bobby Dotter, first time on a big track on the pole, and he got a new track record in doing so at 174 miles an hour. Alongside is Joe Nemechek, who last year won the championship in Grand National Racing. In row 2, it's Ward Burton, has 2 short track wins this year. Had a heartbreaker here a year back. Casey Elliott, he's 19 years old, but his name is Elliott. He's part of that racing family from Dawsonville, Georgia. Row 3 is Mark Martin, 5-time winner this year, and Randy LaJoie, who's been quite a story in the last 2 months. In row 4, it's Tracy Leslie, who won up at Indianapolis Raceway Park, and Todd Bodine, a 3-time winner this year. Row 5, there you have Tom Peck, and from the state of Maine, Joe Bessie. In row 6, Robert Presley. Everybody's talking about this guy. And Ernie Irvin's there, who was 2nd in May in this event. Row 7 is Rodney Combs, and alongside the 90 Busch Series champion, Chuck Bound. For row 8 today, Tim Fedowa and Elton Sawyer. In row 9, it's Jimmy Hensley in the Morgan McClure ride and Tommy Houston. Row 10 today is Robert Hoffman and Bill Elliott, who's had a couple of third-place finishes in this Grand National race. Going to row 11 is Larry Pearson and Ricky Craven, currently 4th in points. Row 12 is Johnny Benson Jr. and Dale Jarrett. Row 13, Rick Wilson and Chad Little. Row 14 today is Jeff Burton and Ken Schrader. For row 15, the leader in the current point standing, Steve Grissom and David Green, who is 2nd. They're side by side in row 15. Row 16 is Hermie Sadler, who won last week up at Rougemont, and Mike Wallace. Row 17, Richard Lassiter from Arkansas and Roy Payne. Row 18 is Dale Earnhardt, 3-time Busch Series winner at Charlotte, and Terry Labonte, who won this race in '85. Row 19 is Jason Keller and Harry Gant. Remember, Gant came from 33rd to win this race one time. Today he's back in 38th. Row 20 is Dave Resendez and Michael Waltrip. Row 21, Phil Parsons and Rick Mast. and Bobby Hillen Jr., Sterling Marlin round out the field.
When we round out the field, we're not telling you who didn't make it. Darrell Waltrip, some of the top names in the sport. A lot of good race cars went home that did not make this field.
On board with Larry Pearson's car as we settle down for a start. What's going to be fun is to watch Earnhardt, and I would think that Michael Waltrip would make a great run here today. They had trouble in qualifying, but he sure looked stout, particularly the last lap, so that losers leave town last chance qualifier yesterday.
Yeah, and in that race, he had a little bit of a problem. He was running second in that race. Good chance to win. Had a little bit of problem. Went to the rear and still came back enough to get into the race today. So got a strong race car back in the rear.
One lap, and they will be racing. Let's talk about the aerodynamics on these Grand National cars, these six-cylinder engines.
Everybody knows NASCAR is working in areas to try to slow them down, control them when they get in trouble. They've done the same thing to these Busch cars. They've raised the spoiler a little bit on the, nose on the front. They shorten the rear spoiler up. They fix those things on the cowls that lets air out in case the car gets backwards. They've made a lot of changes, but I've not heard as much complaining in the Busch series as Winston Cup. The Busch cars still drive good with the amount of spoilers and all they have.
Tomorrow, great race for you. 500 miles, 4 races left in the Winston Cup Series this year. And a youngster, Jeff Gordon's going to be on the pole. Dr. Dick Berggren, you spent 2 solid days down there talking with these guys in Grand National for an article you're getting ready. What's your assessment of how comfortable these people are going to feel in this race?
They're comfortable enough to go really fast, Ken Squire. The rules were designed to slow the cars down, but in fact we have a new track record here. And indeed the rear spoiler is down from what it was at, say, Talladega, but it's a half-inch taller than it was when they were back here last spring. I'm looking for a real fast, safe, competitive race.
Dick, I agree with you. I'm telling you, these guys all week long been talking how good the tires feel, how good the car feels. And when the drivers have a positive attitude, you better buckle up your seatbelt. It's going to get exciting.
Well, buckle up your seatbelt there on the couch or in the easy chair and get ready. Earnhardt from 35th, Michael Waltrip a couple of rows behind him. Up in front, Chicago, Illinois, Bobby Daughter brings the field down with defending champion Florida's Joe Nemechek on the outside of that Ventine car, and they're away for 300 miles at Charlotte. And they're already 3 wide going to turn 1.
There goes Ward Burton making a dive to the inside. The rule says you can't pass just across the start-finish line. They had cleared the line, so it was a legal pass. These guys here, they don't wait for that sorting out stuff. They go in a hurry. They want to get up there as quick as possible.
Around a complete lap number 1, Ward Burton will be in that first spot. Up to the bottom, brings it out nicely. Mark Martin coming up into second spot. Tracy Leslie the third. Nemechek falls to 4th.
That's a good feeling to get that first lap down. That's usually if we have a problem, it could be right then.
Mark Martin closing in. You're riding with him as he closes on the leader. One car running slowly, bottom of the track out of turn number 2. And it is Rodney Combs of Lost Creek, West Virginia, who's lost power as he went into one. He's down below the line and down the back straightaway. Pole sitter has fallen back into 7th spot. Daughter, new leader. Martin crosses the stripe at the end of the second lap as the leader. Mark Martin goes to first.
Mark Martin in the 60 car, that's the 2 car of Ward Burton. And that doesn't surprise me because when Mark Martin qualified, his engine blew up. He coasted for 100 yards and qualified 3rd, so they knew he had a strong car.
Back straightaway, Martin in first. Falling back into second as Rodney Combs coasts on the pit road. There you see Burton, and look at Earnhardt. And talk about a man on a mission. Moving up beneath, John Benson Jr. out of Charlotte, North Carolina. The track is momentarily blocked. Let's see if he can get himself out of this one.
I tell you what's tough with this, these 6-cylinders, if you have to lift out the throttle, you lose that momentum. We see Grissom. Earnhardt lifted for the 74 car, and there goes the 31 around the outside. I'm sure Earnhardt would jump up there and go with him.
30th position at stake. And look at Grissom and the 31. Remember, he's the point leader. The kid out of Alabama, they say he's headed for Winston Cup next year.
The trick of these cars is keep the throttle down with these 6-cylinders. Keep them rolling. That outside lane, they're able to work up there and not have to lift like following on the inside. Coming 3 abreast on turn 4.
Mike Wallace out of St. Louis, and the race is back there. And notice that yellow car. That's the Pennzoil car. Michael Waltrip flying his colors as he floats her down into turn number 1. Moves around Wallace on the outside. And now for the moment, Earnhardt has a chance to do some running up on the high side. David Green out of Owensboro, Kentucky. who's taken himself to second in the Busch Grand National points right there.
Looks like Grissom and Earnhardt are kind of working together here. That's the 99 car. They're going to lose Earnhardt to 3. They're working that high side of the racetrack. He's following Grissom. They're picking them off one at a time.
Earnhardt up to 26. Just in 27th, the blue number 31 of Grissom. And here comes Michael Waltrip.
There goes Grissom. Now, he's going to try that inside lane, which held some people up earlier. But he might kind of read off these two cars in front of him that the inside car is best. We'll find out. Earnhardt tries the outside now. Seems like that momentum on the outside is the way to go.
Back with the leader, and he's out in front by 30 car lengths and pulling away. There's the Winn-Dixie car looking for its 6th win of the season in Grand National competition. All Mark Martin in the early going. Let's see if he can stay the course for 300 miles. Using it in turn 2, slapped the wall hard. The car darted down across the track from his 7th position, and he was able to avoid anyone coming at him, or they were able to avoid him. Take a look here.
There he is. He's up on the outside, just a little bit high. See the back end brake loose? Car just a little bit loose on that part of the racetrack. He's going to go up and really back it in the wall, but the damage is done here. What you hope for is to get back down across this racetrack without anyone getting into you. And he's able to do that. He comes back down. The traffic sees him. They slow it down. He gets on the apron. He was running 7th at the time, so he had a lot of cars behind him.
Casey Elliott, you can see it's jammed up in the back, but he's coming back out with that Bosch car.
They're going to do a lot of work before he can do any racing like that.
First caution today, 10 laps are now complete. Car number 3, Earnhardt from 35th, is up to 20th. And car number 30, Michael Waltrip, from 40th to 22nd. Sadler pitting his number 25. Let's go to the pit center this afternoon. Standing by down there is Rick Benjamin.
Well, Ken, you spoke earlier about the more than $400,000 in purse money that's up for grabs today. Neil mentioned the host of incentive awards that are up for these race teams. The mechanics haven't been forgotten at all here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll be talking about the True Value Master Mechanic Award throughout the afternoon. The media assembled here will select one of the chief mechanics on these race teams before we're done today. As the True Value Master Mechanic of the race, we'll let you know who that winner is before we leave the air this afternoon.
Caution remaining out for the moment while they check out the track. Casey Elliott. There you see his dad, Ernie Elliott, working on that car a bit. The whole Elliott family involved in racing. Has Bill been able to help you, Casey?
Yeah, here lately he's since we're in the same garage together and he's got his car here and my car here, you know, he can take time out and he can help me more and tell me kind of like he told me a few things like my car was doing and what I was doing that I should try to work on.
Not much question that's an Elliott, is it?
Gosh, sure runs in the family. They look good. I tell you what, he's been doing good in all the series. It's a shame to see him have trouble this early, but that's just, you come to these big old racetracks, it just takes lap after lap to get to where you get the hang of it.
Getting ready for a go here. Another time. First caution of the day after Casey Elliott strikes the wall in turn 2. Looks like this. Martin first, Tracy Leslie doing a good job up to second, Nemechek back to third, Tom Peck to fourth, Robert Presley fifth, Ward Burton in sixth. Further back, Randy LaJoy has dropped a spot to seventh, Ernie Irvin up to eighth, Chuck Bound is in ninth, Todd Bodine is in 10th, Bobby Dotter, the pole sitter, falls to 11th, and Bill Elliott in 12th.
Let's go down to Johnny Hayes. He can tell us what happened with Casey Elliott.
Casey Elliott cut down a right front tire. He's coming back in. They changed the outside, but that's what caused him to spin. He cut a right front down.
Well, I tell you, I know the boy's got a lot of talent. He's ran in a lot of races, been good. And when he's turned it around like that, I felt like it had to be something mechanical. The guy's just too good to lose it like that.
What about tires?
Ken, it's a big iffy situation. Everybody's concerned about how far you can go on tires. Will they wear this way? I think what scares everybody is the cars are so fast. So we just have to see how the tire situation plays out.
200 laps today. Pace car comes in. When they take the flag, they will have completed 12. Just motoring away, Mark Martin. You called that earlier. He said if he's up there, he's gone.
Well, when in qualifying, he blew a motor way before he got to the start-finish line and qualified third. And in practice, he's been a rocket ship, which is nothing new for that car. Number 60 car, any Busch racing? Tracy Tracy Leslie's right behind Mark with him, see if he can stay with him.
Mark Martin has not had much success. He was running second back in May in the sprint race. He was out early in that affair, but right now he's the class of the field. Look at Tracy Leslie. Hang right in there in the Detroit gasket car.
Leslie's had a lot of good runs in that number 72 right to the red car behind Mark. But I tell you, Mark, when he gets one of these things going right, he'll wear you out. There we are. That's the view he always sees, Ken. When we're at these Busch races, right out there in the back of that little 60 car.
7th place right here. There you see Chuck Bound down on the bottom, trying to hold on to it. And rolling up the outside comes Ernie Irvin.
Ernie Irvin is running a Chevrolet today. He's switching all of his Busch cars over to Ford since he made that change over to Robert Yates. He's running a Chevrolet today, and then they're going to switch everything over to Ford products.
Sandwiched in there, Todd Bodine of Chemung, New York. This has not been a good year for Chuck Bound. He'd love to turn it around here today. And that car is the 1991 Grand National Champion. Getting around a couple.
In that 34 car we're looking at, Todd Bodine, it'll surprise me if before the day's over he doesn't get right up in the front. His car runs well in all of these Busch.
Got a smoker down in turn 1.
Presley of all people.
Robert Presley blows up big time in turn number 1, and yellow is out for the Asheville, North Carolina driver. The Dan Welch car really came unhinged.
He's one of these guys up in the points thing, too. He can't afford things like this happening, but when that motor cuts loose, there's nothing you can do.
5th in points. We'll take a break and come back here. Robert Presley is okay, but that engine sure went sour. 14 complete as they come back to the stripe. Mark Martin's show thus far. But here come Earnhardt and Waltrip. Assisting TBS Sports with aerial coverage of this year's All-Pro 300 and the Mellow Yellow 500 tomorrow. The fine folks from Ray Bestis, the very best in brakes. 17 laps have been completed with Mark Martin and Tracy Leslie running 1 and 2. Let's go back to the garage area. Here's Randy.
Robert Presley not too happy. Robert, a lot of smoke, but what was it exactly? Do you know?
Yeah, first I thought it was a motor, and then I started hearing all the parts flying, and what happened, transmission just come out of it, and tore up rear end, drive shaft, and all. So, you know, I tell you, this old Chevrolet was flying today. Alliance tractor trailer, you know, sticking with us all year there, and hoping we come away and win this thing, but just wasn't meant to be today.
You got one of the best crews in the business, but I don't see him around here. Does this mean it's terminal?
Yeah, I think, you know, that there ain't no way we can get all that back together. And, you know, Charlotte, you either need to win this thing or, you know, just sit back, talk about coming back next year.
Okay, and talk about coming back. He's going to be in Harry Gant's car in 1995 in the Winston Cup Series.
Yes, indeed. A lot of folks thought he was ready to make the move this year. In fact, there was a deal done, wasn't there, for a while?
Yeah, they thought it was going to happen. Let me tell you what's unique about it. In 95, he will drive the 33 car for U.S. Tobacco Company, and Gant has been retained for 5 years to kind of coach Presley along. So Gant will still have that involvement with Leo Jackson and U.S. Tobacco.
Ward Burton has made a couple of pit stops, just coming back out again. Johnny Hayes, what's the story?
Ward Burton came in. They're not having tire problems. They're adjusting the car. I talked to Freddie Fryer. He put a bunch of rubbers in the car so they could take them out. The car's not been working well. They've made those adjustments, refueled it. They feel like they're okay now.
They've been trying. They've been in, what, 2, 3 times? 3 times they've been in working on car number 2, the Hardy's car for Ward Burton.
You know, that was car qualified 3rd. They thought they were in good shape, having to do a lot of scrambling now.
So he's catching up on the tail end of the field, and he's still got some racing to do out here. Taking a look at the leaderboard as they come about, it's Mark Martin in first, Tracy Leslie in second. There you see Nemechek sustaining third, Chuck Bound in that 6th position. Looking further back, Dale Jarrett gets himself up to 12th, and Bobby Dotter, who's set on the pole, back to 11th now. Hensley having a good day in his first Grand National ride of the year, rounding out that top 10.
Giving one to go this time.
One lap, and they'll be racing, as you see coming across the line. Mark Martin giving you this view of the field as he settles down and gets ready to go. From 35th position, Earnhardt has come up to 16th.
We need to hold this shot here. Somebody's in front of Mark Martin. It doesn't happen.
Elmo Langley. Elmo's in front of it. Earnhardt has really done some fast running, and quickly, too, as he's come up through the field. There you see him. now in 16th and just 2 spots back. Using him for a snowplow out there today. Young Michael Waltrip. We call him the Little Waltrip. From 40th position, the Little Waltrip now has himself in 18th. And that's a whale of a run.
Just because he's 6'3" or 4 doesn't make him a big walker. 6'4". Yeah, he's a nice size one. I didn't make that Waltrip mad. I hadn't had to handle him yet. He'd probably take care of him in a hurry, wouldn't he?
Why'd you make the other one mad?
Oh, we had some fun with it. Racing's always fun, no matter what happens.
There you see the car that is now 18th. The Pennzoil car scooping in a little air there as he gets set for a go. Pace car is ready to drop in. There will be 20 laps complete of 200 when the field comes up for a start. Mark Martin is first, Leslie second, Joe Nemechek's number 87 you see in third, and then it's Tom Peck back there in fourth.
Seems like when he starts, people can hang with Mark Martin as they go up through the gears. And then once Mark gets that thing of his wound up, boy, he's a handful. There we see, you see him stretching it away. He's down in the middle of turn 1 and 2. Coming up on the back straightaway. Before, Leslie could pull up on him right here at this part. And there he comes again. You'll see him pull up a little bit. But when they get to this next turn, that's where Mark's really been working on a chop right through the middle of the corner.
Look at Tracy Leslie trying to get back into it on his first Grand National race at Indianapolis Raceway Park earlier this year. Right to the wall and down the main straightaway.
The draft is really effective on this racetrack. And it's a key thing to stay right behind that guy. Work the draft at this place. The speeds are close to the Talladega speed, so you got to work that draft.
Arkansas's Mark Martin stays in first with Mount Clemens, Michigan. Tracy Leslie in second. Martin out in front as they scoot into turn number 3. Mark, do you have a different strategy that you use when racing in this Busch Grand National Series?
In racing is to finish first. Doesn't matter what the format is. You know, it doesn't matter what the format is or what.
Loose and crashing, and 4 more cars in trouble going down into turn number 1. Major incident in the main straightaway. Tom Peck's number 19 has been running right there, the McConnellsburg, Pennsylvania runner. Jimmy Hensley gets collected in this one. There's the 4 car slammed hard against the wall. Ridgeway, Virginia's Jimmy Hensley. The 19. That's Tom Peck. We've just been speaking to that McConnellsburg PA driver. In trouble.
Ken, let me tell you what, the 19, I was watching it when it happened. The stuff that NASCAR put into effect really paid off. The car started off the ground. I saw the flaps open on the hood, let the air out, and it set it back down. A lot of trouble, but it could have been a lot worse. Boy, he's got the windshield out of the car. See, no windshield, and it's just chewing pieces off itself as it comes around there.
Second caution of the day comes in lap 22. That's the 3rd caution of the day. Correct that. That's the 3rd caution of the afternoon. Take a look and replay.
We'll see if we can see what happened. Okay, he's come through. Oh, he gets tapped by the 20 car. The 2 of those guys get together. Watch this 19 car come around.
That's
it's going to. Yep, the 19 is trying to lift. See the windshield go out. The minute the car turned backwards, those flaps on the hood opened up. Release the air on the hood. The windshield peels out of it and it sets back down.
Well, watch where it goes now. This is when the trouble began.
Ooh,
up behind it, there's Hensley into the wall hard.
That's bad because you can see him coming. Well, the guys behind him did a good job. He's peeing on the wall. He's squeezing through here. That's the 4 car he's already wrecked. Excuse me, the 41 car, I believe it was.
Well, that's where those spotters are so effective. They got a lot of people low that would have been collected in that one. So as 19 ambles around and tries to get back in here, Tom Peck will take a break and be back with more of this story in a moment. Martin leads. It was probably Dale Jarrett. There's that 19 car as they continue to look over Tom Peck's machine to see what can be done with that Delco Remy car. Dick Berggren is there.
Ken Squire is really badly beaten up. They're going to have a tough time trying to get a windshield in this thing. All the brackets to hold the windshield are badly bent. Importantly, this crew got a bird's eye view of this spin and near flip first in real time. Then they turned around. Humpy Wheeler's put a huge TV screen behind them, and they watched the WTBS broadcast and had their hearts pumping one more time.
Look at pit road. Everybody's coming down pit road now.
At lap 24. Mark Martin is in.
Tracy Leslie directly in front of the 1-2 cars. See Martin get on out. Leslie's still back there working.
seconds for Mark Martin, and he is away.
Here's where they're going to have one problem. We're still putting the windshield in the 19 car. It distorted the body work so bad that it doesn't even fit in the framework. They're going to have to put duct tape and just hold it in as best they can. But let me tell you, at these high speeds, it's going to take a lot of it to keep it flying out of there.
When that windshield comes out, you've had that happen a few times. You really hear a difference in sound? I mean, you really notice that the world changes immediately?
I'll tell you what, I was in Talladega, and I lost the windshield out of an IROC car, and it nearly blew my helmet off. I kind of joke about that, but it's about to cut my throat, the strap trying to blow the helmet up there. These things aren't set up, or there's no configuration to divert the air over the top. And that thing, you've got to have that windshield, and you cannot drive these cars. You can see the air dams. There's a hole directly in the front. That's where the carburetor, the two little air flaps on the side, going to open up and probably help keep turning that car over.
So Tom Peck, a lucky guy, he's been here since way back in the mid-'80s, 84, 85 he started, and his best finish was in 91 when he had 5th place. Not having much luck out here today.
Ken, we talked about those air flaps in the front right there. When they open up directly in front of the driver. And I opened up several of them, looking at one, it says, hang on. Because when that thing, I mean, that's the cleaned up version of what it says on most of them. But when that air flap comes up and you see it, you're going for a ride.
Gosh, I can't think what they'd have written in there that would need some cleaning up. We're watching Larry Pearson, and the really good news is that Pearson's coming back next year to run the entire season in Grand National Racing with the Stanley Tools people. Mac Martin, the car owner, is thrilled. The 86-87 champions coming back into Grand National Racing as this particular division just grows and gets better year after year. Also, we've heard that Andy Hillenberg is going to field a Grand National car for all of next year. The Indianapolis, Indiana sprint car driver. Big name coming into the sport. Andy Hillenberg from the world of those open wheelers. More in a moment. Charlotte Motor Speedway, All-Pro 300 Grand National ranks. The lead car, Tommy Houston. 4th race this season that Tommy Houston has led. Of course, he's the guy that has the most career starts in Grand National Racing among the active drivers these days. He's in front as we get set for another go. See the field in the back straightaway. Robert Huffman, 2nd. Ward Burton finds himself 3rd, and Hermie Sadler won his first Grand National race just last Saturday, is in 4th. Lassiter up to 5th. Roy Payne in 6th. Earnhardt on this restart will be in 16th. Michael Waltrip will restart in 24th. And still working on that 19 car as they get ready for a go. Let's check a little further back as to where Mark Martin is going to be starting this race as they come down to the line. Martin would be back in 8th position, they're saying. He'll come to the line. That's not correct. That's the scoring report. I think it's really 6th if we look down here and see him come to the line. Yeah, 6 is correct. So we're back under green as they come across the complete lap 28. And Tommy Houston out in front.
Watch how fast Mark Martin pulls up with these guys. That little car of his is good leading the race. And there he's going by one car. Got a guy on the outside of him. They've got 2 abreast right here. He'll jump all over. There's one he just cleared. That's Bill Elliott we see right behind him. Here comes Mark. We see these 2 cars. That's Ward Burton on the outside and White to the inside. Now the driver makes a judgment. Do I go inside, outside? Who's got the best car? Looks like they're going to touch him and show him who's got the best one. Mark's car is good enough. He might turn it down 3 abreast. Go inside of both of them down this back straightaway. Ooh, there's one car pulling the inside. Right behind. That was the 19 car just went by on the left.
We want to watch this for a moment. Great racing. Robert Huffman down on the inside in that 39 on the outside. Ward Burton, and here coming to the bottom in that very rough 4th turn area. They've done a lot of work up here. You can still see them having to grab an extra bit of handle on that car as they come through there.
Ken, that's a real good indication of what it takes when you're telling people how to drive the Speedway. You bring new guys in. You got a good race car, but you got to use some discipline. Mark Martin could have jumped in that hole a couple of times. He could have done this, but he did the right thing. He let him straighten out, and then he's going to pick them off one at a time, and it's not going to take him long.
92, Larry Pearson on pit row. Tommy Houston going high, down to the inside, as he really turns that car in. Mark Martin going for the lead, and he's got it. And you rode with him right to the front. How fast into turn number 1? Right here.
Cars running close to 170-something miles an hour driving off in there. And believe it or not, there's very little throttle lift but it just so many, the tires are so good, you bury the tires, it pulls the motor down. These 6-cylinders labor like everything around this big racetrack.
Tom Peck has repitted. Larry Pearson in the Stanley Tool car remains on pit road. By 3 car lengths, Mark Martin draws away. Big time.
Trying to look around and see who's got something for Martin. You know, you got a lot of cars working the way the front, but Mark's car looks extremely strong.
Under perfect conditions here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. This snarl continue. There you see Nemechek down on the inside. Right behind him comes Earnhardt, and that's Labonte, Terry Labonte, directly behind him.
Yep, that's 3 abreast.
On the outside, Todd.
That's 3 abreast going down the corner. Here's his fans standing up hollering. Wild driving early in the race down on the bottom like that. There's Earnhardt splits in between them. He just got around Labonte before he made that move, so he's still coming to the front.
4-8. 4-8.
I don't know what kind of problems they had in qualifying, but you almost expect it. No matter where he qualifies, he's going to go to the front of these races, no matter Busch or Westinghouse.
8th, 9th, and 10th. There's Todd Bodine. There's Earnhardt right with him.
Now, Todd Bodine's got a good race car. Maybe these guys, Todd's car runs strong. I don't know if Earnhardt's going to jump around him or not. It might take a couple of cars to get to the front.
Nemechek in 10. Terry Labonte back there in 11. Let's go down to the pit control center with Rick Benjamin.
Well, Ken, I'm here with a guy who might have the most broad-based collection of driving uniforms in America. Jimmy Hensley, one race deal today in the Morgan McClure Busch car. You got in some trouble on the outside. What happened?
Well, we was running along, you know, thought we had a pretty good car today, and I'd like to thank Larry and James Finch for giving me the opportunity to get this Busch car. The Kodak Film Chevrolet running good. We just kind of followed Elliott down, and somebody up front got crossed up sideways, and we kind of got out of the gas, and we got hit in the back, turned around, and got in the wall pretty hard. So kind of ended our day.
If you can show us this, your name does not appear on the corner of the uniform. There's a little yellow piece of duct tape here and handwritten Jimmy Hensley, the legend, and you've certainly earned that this year.
Well, I think so, but I didn't do that. One of the drivers did that too, Mike Wallace, something he wrote. I couldn't even see what he was writing on it, so you know, that's pretty neat.
Good luck, Jimmy. Thanks.
Thank you, Rich.
Chuck Bound in there gets a 4th spot from Bill Elliott. Come across the line at lap 36. Jimmy Hensley, 20 years ago, he ran in the inaugural sportsman race in those days on this track, came home with 4th. That was 20 years back from right now.
I think the biggest mystery in racing is why Jimmy Hensley doesn't have a full-time ride. The guy can drive anything, and he can drive it to the front. Excellent driver, just sometimes you can't get all the sponsorship hooked up. Love to see him get a good ride full-time. Oh, Rick coming off turn 4.
A big-time spin. That is Randy LaJoie going around once, going around twice, trying to stay on the bottom of the racetrack. LaJoie looping the number 20. He's had a couple of second-place finishes that have been outstanding this year. One until
get hit pulling out.
Almost got hit pulling back out. He had just moved into second place as he came off turn 4. And he drops it all the way around in a couple of 360s. He's been signed up by Moroso for the entire Grand National campaign in 1994. So the Norwalk, Connecticut campaigner will have to come in with some flat-spotted tires now. He may get himself 5 Winston Cup rides. But that was a moment that he doesn't want to relive very shortly. Coming off turn 4, they've done a lot of work up there trying to straighten that corner out. And with Neil Bonnet, we'll talk about that when we return. There are 37 laps now complete. We're under caution once again here at Charlotte. Ward Burton in 2nd, Chuck Bound in 3rd, Tracy Leslie in 4th, Bill Elliott in 5th, Todd Bodine in 6th, Earnhardt is 7th, Nemechek 8th, Ernie Urban 9th, and Dale Jarrett is 10th, with Michael Waltrip now showing in the 11th spot with 39 laps complete. 39 are down. You see the number 20 car that had this big moment coming out of turn number 4 just as LaJoie took over 2nd spot. The 19 car has gone back to the garage. Tom Peck, take a look again at what happened.
There's Mark Martin coming by. There's the 20 car, the number 2 car of Ward Burton directly behind him. Let's see if they touched up there.
You may just pull the air off.
Here they go right through the corner right there.
They got a piece of him too.
It's hard to tell if you loosened him up or if you just got into him.
Got another angle. Maybe we can see it there, Neil.
There was Chuck Bound coming along right behind the 2 car. Boy, now, he slid all the way down into him. Luckily, some of these guys didn't get into him here. Here's another shot of it. Oh, they're already turned around. That's Chuck Bound in a white car with a white nose, red car. Did a good job of getting to the right, avoiding that.
Got time to say your rosary or what right then, Neil?
You're busy cranking on that little thing in front of you. Left, right, trying to figure which direction to go with it.
Here's Johnny Hayes.
Ken, you won't believe what happened to Michael Waltrip. He's having a clutch problem. But what caused the clutch problem, when they had that wreck, he hit the brake pedal so hard that he almost pushed it all the way through the floorboard, setting the clutch out of line. They're trying to get that straightened out. His car's flying, running good. Thinks he has a shot at this thing. But his endorphins must have kicked in because he pushed the brake pedal through the floor.
I'm not going to call him Little Mikey anymore. If he can bend the brake pedal through the floor, he's a big one. But I tell you what, that's when something happens in front of you, you just jab that thing so quick. It's no telling what you can tear up down there.
You ever break those pedals off?
I had one fall off at Daytona. I mean, literally, the brake pedal fell off in the floor in the modified race. And laid in the floor, and I called them. I said, the brake pedal's gone. They said, you don't have any brakes? I said, the brake pedal's laid in the floor. At that time, I needed enough money. I kept driving.
Randy?
Tom Peck here. Took a little bit of a ride there, Tom. The crew went and put a new windshield in, tried to fix it. You're loading it up.
Well, we're beating the back, and the nose is tore off of it, and it's we're already 4 or 5 laps behind, and I don't know what else is going to break next. And we're not in the hunt for the points right now, so I guess it's good for everything. I want to say hello to Carol back in Waycross. She just had a baby this Wednesday. Yeah, so congratulations, Carol. We miss you. We hope you get back with us pretty soon.
As far as the spin, what happened?
Well, you know, somebody was trying to pass me, so it's pretty obvious. And, you know, probably the less I say about it, the better off I'll be. I mean, I think everybody saw it on TV.
Okay. Guys, also Larry Pearson has pulled his Stanley Tools machine back in the garage area. Something about a rear-end gear stripping out of that car, so that's a little unusual. We'll keep an eye on him.
One lap, and they will be racing. That Carol that you heard Tom Peck referring to was Carol Levin, the car owner of number 19. They're enjoying the race today, probably not as much as they would have desired with the outcome made so early for their machine. 41 laps are completed at 200. Mark Martin first, Ford Burton second, Down third, Tracy Leslie fourth, Bill Elliott fifth, Todd Bodine sixth, Earnhardt seventh, Nemechek eighth, Irvin, Jarrett 10th, Michael Waltrip 11th, and Harry Gant back in 12th as we settle down for another go.
Look here.
Look who's trying to get into the race.
Hey, Randy, hang on, buddy. They're dropping out in a hurry. You might have a shot at it.
I'm stuck.
Brake pedal fell off.
I tell you what, I believe he's playing this to the hilt. I know his back's in trouble, but he's having a lot of fun down there riding today.
Yeah, his foot's in trouble, too. Lost a nerve and can't hold that foot up. He's gone.
You telling me I didn't have a nerve to hold my foot there?
No, that isn't what I said at all.
Oh, okay.
That nerve goes down through your lose control and ankle down.
Okay, I'll take it.
Isn't that what happened? Didn't that happen to you, though, when you crashed here in Charlotte?
Yeah. I ran into the wall and knocked all those nerves loose. I kind of had my leg turned the wrong direction.
24 laps of green and 17 laps of yellow. How about that as we come down through 41 complete? So again, they'll send the pace car in and we'll turn them loose. We've had 4 lead changes among 3 drivers thus far, and we've totaled out some 4 caution periods. We're away and racing another time. And everybody's chasing Mark Martin in car number 60.
In that shuffle, the 2 car must have went a lap down when he was coming in earlier back and forth because they're not showing him. You know, no, they are. They're showing him in second place. I'm sorry. They had the 20 up there, and they just had cleared the board in the infield. We got it right in the booth. The infield's got it wrong.
Well, once again, let's see if we can get that interesting remark from Mark Martin in here as he begins to draw away from Wartburg. We have a different strategy in racing the Busch Grand National Series, Mark.
Object in racing is to finish first. Doesn't matter what the format is. You know, I mean, it doesn't matter what the format is or how long the race is or how short it is. You know, the object of the deal is to be in first place. It doesn't change anything the way we do things. We still try to be in the front when it's over, and we know when it's over, and we race to try to be as far up as we can when the thing plays out.
Earnhardt works on Todd Bodine. Listening to leader Mark Martin, 7th spot there.
Good good philosophy with Mark. And, you know, I've had people say, what are you doing a sprint race like the Clash? What are you doing on? The key in this type of racing is win. Anything short of that, you're in trouble. You're losing your job. You got a lot of people grumbling. The key is to win no matter what happens.
Elliott 5th. Car number 11. Todd Bodine 6th. Earnhardt's outfit in 7th. Dale Jarrett's fading. They say he's lost a cylinder.
We've seen a lot of motors go away this week in practice and everything. You come to a big racetrack like this with these big sweeping turns, the tires are hooked up good. I'm telling you, it works these little 6-cylinders to death. A lot of engines went away this week.
As you look at the rundown, look at this battle. Trying to run down Bill Elliott, Todd Bodine, the youngest of the Bodine brothers. He's got a future in front of him. Already has 7 Grand National wins.
There's Earnhardt and Nemechek, looks like, going around Todd Bodine. Will Earnhardt made the pass around Todd Bodine. Put him up in the 5th place, I believe. No, they made it in the 6th place.
Into 6th.
Nemechek wanted to make the same move, just couldn't quite clear around the outside of Todd Bodine's car.
People are very excited about Nemechek. Really come on. Last year's champion beat Bobby Labonte by 3 points. End of the year. Look at Earnhardt down to the inside on Elliott. The man who always seems to be on a mission when they drop that flag. Yeah, I see you laughing. He's not trying.
Ken, I was in the garage with them quite a bit this week, and they legitimately had something. They just couldn't get the car to go. They couldn't get to go. The numbers aren't there. When they get the stopwatch out, the car's not running fast. They can't get it up to speed, but when he gets in the race, he works the draft, does everything he needs to do, and he gets them up front, but they just still can't get the brute speed out of the car they need.
Elliott falls back. So Earnhardt has himself another spot. He's in the 5th. Todd Bodine in number 34. Back in that 8th spot. Todd, how tough is Earnhardt as a competitor?
Well, they don't call him the Intimidator for nothing. You know, he doesn't give you an inch. You gotta take anything you're gonna get from him. He's a hard racer. He's hard every lap. He doesn't ever let up. He runs the car as hard as it's gonna go. And you know, the thing about him, they call him the Intimidator, but you can't let it get to you. You gotta race him just like anybody else. He's tough.
Bernie Irvin is another toughie, and he's right in front of Todd Bodine at this moment. Whoop!
There goes driving under Bill Elliott.
Easily. It's like that 11 just scooted up there.
It wasn't easily. He just made it look easily. Good move in his part. 3 wide coming off turn 4 behind this.
Hole opened up, though. It looked like Elliott had to take another grip on that thing, and he just shot down through.
Let me tell you what happens. When they move you, you can run a little bit higher than 3 and 4 than you can 1 and 2, but when they move you up a car length and a half, you're going for a little slide.
6th, 7th, and 8th. Now look at this battle for 16th position here.
Maybe 16, 17, 18, 19, 20s, maybe. What a group of them, I'm telling you. This is the group that I saw the lap before. 3 abreast coming off turn 4. I didn't think they were going to make it, but they made it off 4. They're still trying some crazy moves here.
Chandler back there. Fettewa in that one. Labonte. Parsons. Bill Parsons from 41st. Bill Parsons up into 17th. That's that second car in your frame, that white car into the back straightaway. Back for a battle at 2nd spot. There you see Ward Burton. Remember that heartbreaker? He had this thing won going away. Ward Burton was all there. There's Chuck Bound having a terrific day. He's not won a race since back in '91. Okay, Dublin, Virginia. He's looking very strong right now with an Escapade car.
Boy, not only has he not won, he's had some terrible luck all year long. He's had cars that ran good on given occasions. Somebody else have a problem and take him out. He's got a car that's capable, and Hensley keeps that car up. The thing will really run now.
Here's Johnny Hayes.
I'm down with Freddie Fryer, great racer himself. Freddie, what's happening?
Well, Johnny, we had a lot of problems at first with the car being too loose. We anticipated the weather to be a little cooler and just miscalculated. We took some rubbers out of the springs and
Ward says the car's pretty good now, but he won't be comfortable unless he run it flat out all the way around the track.
Well, he seems to be doing okay to me.
So there is Ward Burton, the car that Freddie Fryer has prepared. He's running in second with Chuck Bound in third, but the leader continues to be the Winn-Dixie car number 60. It's Mark Martin going for win number 6 of the 1993 season. We'll see if he can pull it off here at Charlotte, North Carolina. Hello 500. What a race tomorrow. A 42-car field, a second apart. Rookie on the pole, Jeff Gordon. You're riding right now with Mark Martin. He's out in front and drawing a bead on victory number 6. There's that number 30 car, and what a job Michael Waldrop is doing. Bad clutch maybe, but still running in 8th position, and he's fought his way up from 40th as he tries to clear Joe Nemechek. Nemechek for the moment getting around Tracy Leslie. Leslie in 6th spot, falling back. Nemechek gets it.
Seems like at times a couple of cars can get on the high side of the racetrack. There's the 72 on the inside, but when you get on the high side, cars really make a strong run. See Walter going around the outside.
This battle's about 5 seconds, 4.9 they say, back from the leader, Mark Martin.
A lot of smoke coming out of Leslie's car right there. 72 car, looked like he pulled the inside wall, though sometimes a driver will realize he's got a problem before anyone else. Smells a little something in the car. Big puff of smoke. Let's see if he does it going down in this corner. You don't see it on this end like we did the other end of the racetrack. But the other straightaway, the front straightaway is where you really rattle the motors around. A lot longer. We showed you at the top of the show. The front straightaway's longer. Works the motors a lot harder.
Michael Waltrip into 7th. Tracy Leslie back to 8th. Mark Martin continuing to lead. Earnhardt in the number 3 had closed right up on the back of Chuck Bound. But now Bound has pulled away from him by a couple of car lengths. Let's take a look at that battle. Now there you see Earnhardt. He's in 4th. Bound is in 3rd. He had Bound right there in his clutches, and you can see that Chuck has drawn away. Tires?
Might have used them up pretty good. They were noticing in practice that there's a good bit of tire wear on the left front of the cars, which is a good sign. The car's working the tires. They're just using up some of it. It starts going away a little bit.
What do you mean a little bit? Didn't you say that at 35 laps it was showing forward?
Yeah, that was, but in practice they put a lot more rubber on the track. Hopefully the track has gotten better, but you know, it looks like these cars lined up the track, so he might have worked on that left front some more. Yeah, it's using that. Look behind Earnhardt. That's Ernie Irvine coming up behind him. The 41 car came from a way back. Now he's running Earnhardt down.
Folks, let me tell you, yesterday Bonnet went over with his buddy Earnhardt, and he was chewing on poor Earnhardt, who was not having a very good day, and Earnhardt said, well, why don't you go get your uniform and drive this thing?
And I saw the
then you saw the right front, left front.
I saw the cords, and I said, I don't believe I'm going to get my uniform. But just I picked the wrong time to agitate him because he's trying to run the consolation race, last chance.
When is the right time?
When he's got a 10-pound bass on, you can say anything, and he doesn't get mad. I'll tell you, Chuck Bound's running a good race here. We did see Earnhardt put some pressure on him, and now he's stretching it back out.
Dick Berggren is down there in the pits of Chuck Bound.
Yeah, and they're having a great day, Ken Fryer. They're having a day as good as this in a long time. The question is, Jeff Hensley, what have you got for the 2, Ward Burton?
Well, I hope Goodyear tires is one thing. But, no, our car's working really good. We're a little bit tight. We opted to take on left side tires instead of right because we're having a left side problem yesterday, just a wear problem. Nothing wrong with the tires, but, we're a little bit tight. Hopefully we'll make it to the halfway break, maybe put a rubber in the right rear. But, right now we're really tickled to be up there running good. We've been really good this year on the speedways everywhere we've been. But something's always happened to kind of knock us out of a good finish. And it may be a surprise to some people, but we know that we're capable of doing this. It's just hopefully with the good Lord's blessing we can put this thing and hold it together all day long. But we got a really good race car. I don't know if we got anything for Mark Martin. I don't know if anybody does. But I think we're capable of running good.
34 laps to that halfway. But what I'm interested in knowing is what they've done differently for Chuck Bound. Just a week ago, he had a 3rd place finish, which was his best of the season. This for a guy who has 10 Grand National wins. This for a guy who was the 1990 champion to be still making up and getting back up in here as the season progresses to where it is. Looks to me like they found something. They're doing something differently on that team.
Ken, you just can't keep somebody like this down. That team is capable of running up. Chuck Bound is capable of running up there. When they get their ducks in a row, they're going to win races.
Well, there you see Bound just in front of Earnhardt. And Ernie Irvan getting himself back into the picture. Bound, just by starting today's race, became the third driver in Grand National history to top $1 million. He joins Tommy Houston and Jack Ingram in that category. Down to the inside, challenge on Earnhardt. The Mac Tools car on the bottom. And it's Ernie Irvan rolling through. Ernie Irvan at number 41 making the move, and it looks like Earnhardt is off his feet, probably his tires. 68 laps complete, which means we're getting down to, what, 32 to the halfway mark, and they'll be in for that 15-minute intermission. We'll take a short break and be back with more from Charlotte Motor Speedway. All-Pro 300 tomorrow. The Mellow Yellow 500, Winston Cup Racing. Don't miss it.
Charlotte Motor Speedway, a beautiful Saturday afternoon in the Carolinas. The NASCAR Busch Grand National Series running the All-Pro 300, and so far it's the All-Mark Martin 300. Lap 72, and Mark Martin has been out in front virtually from the beginning this afternoon. We've had several caution periods. We had a near miss earlier. We've talked about some of the aerodynamic changes that NASCAR has mandated starting here at Charlotte. We're going to show you maybe the key of the entire change sequence. This is off the number 4 car, the car that Jimmy Hensley's been driving here today. This is the trap door, and this is a piece of the cowling, the right side of the cowling on the car. And under normal competition circumstances, this flap is kept down by the airflow over the top of the car. Spin the car, though, as Tom Peck did earlier. This flies open, lets the air come out from under the hood, keeps the car from getting airborne. A safety feature that Neil Bonnet wishes some of his Winston Cup cars had had in years past.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Rick. I have needed some of that kind of devices to keep me on the ground. I could have used a couple of them.
You could have used it just a couple of months ago.
Yes, sir.
That wouldn't have helped, though, I don't think. Did I tell you got a new altitude record?
Oh, yeah. Boy, here's third place. Here's Ernie Irvan. He got around Earnhardt, and now he's working on Hensley.
Irvan does well here. Ernie Irvan, remember, finished second back in May in this event. He had a whale of a run.
Chuck Bound is staying right with him. Ernie's came way back. He was about 12th, and he picked them all off. Then he got up, he ran Earnhardt down. Earnhardt raced him 2 or 3 laps. He was able to get around. Now he jumped on the leaders a little bit.
Let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Well, the Larry Pearson crew still working on his automobile back here in the garage area, but a couple of other guys have pulled back very quickly. Rick Wilson, it seems, has dropped the cylinder in his boot country car. Also, Bobby Hillen Jr., he's back in the garage area. And what happened to Dale Jarrett? Boom, back in the garage area, all within a matter of minutes. All engine failure or engine-related, guys.
Well, Randy, get ready. I see the number 1 car coasting around the apron. He might be headed your way. The 38 car, they're pushing it down pit road, so move over your little cart. They're coming to you.
We'll get a word with them when they get in here.
So Ernie Irvan goes to third. Ward Burton is still second. Mark Martin is out in front. But the guy on the move, the guy that is rolling, is LaJoie in car number 20. He's up to 11. Remember, he did 2 360s, spun out of turn 4. We'll take a look at that blue number 20 down on the bottom. He's just blown by a bunch of folks. He took Terry Labonte, he took Bill Elliott, he went by Phil Parsons, all in the last 3 laps. And Randy LaJoie out of Norwalk, Connecticut, pacing himself toward the halfway distance. 77 laps are now complete and looking very strong. There you see Terry Labonte in the number 14 car. He stays right there with that 29. That's Phil Parsons. Phil having a good day as well. Remember, he came from out back of the front 40 in this race. He was in the back 4.
He barely made it in the last chance race yesterday. Now he's worked his way to the front of this race.
But LaJoie, who qualified 6th, was fighting for second, spun twice. Coming out of turn 4, luckily did not get collected, went to dead last, which at that point was about 26, gets himself right back up through it.
Boy, the leader is in some serious traffic right here. Mark went down the front straightaway. He had 3 cars all around him. They finally moved over. He's getting around some of them, but boy, he was in a traffic jam coming down the front straightaway.
Staff America car, Johnny Benson down on the inside. Martin is away. He's clear.
But look, once he cleared him, he ran ran up on him. He had a lot of traffic. He cleared him. He put about a block on him in about half the straightaway.
Ward Burton is trapped back on those lap cars right now, the number 2 place car. 80 laps complete next time by. And there's Ward. He scoots down to the inside.
Interesting strategy unfolding with the first and second place tires. The leader is on Goodyear tires. Mark Martin, Ward Burton is on Hoosiers. 2 different tire companies contesting this event. When Martin came in, he took 2 tires, outside tires. The rules here are, under caution flag, you're only allowed to take 2. Now, most of the other Goodyear guys are worried about their left side, and under that caution period, a lot of them took left. But I just talked to Martin's crew chief, Bobby Leslie, and he says, this car is running great. We're just going to stay out in front so we stay out of all the trouble that's been happening behind us.
Let me review for you as you watch Mark Martin at work. He's first, Ward Burton second, Irvin third, Bound fourth, Earnhardt fifth, Nemechek sixth, Burton seventh, Michael Waltrip eighth, Gant ninth, LaJoy being shown as 10th.
I tell you, with this tire changing that's coming up, Ken, it's going to be interesting. It's like Dick Burton was talking about. You get 2. If they're wearing lefts out, they're almost going to need to put lefts on again when they come back in. Somewhere down the road, they're going to have to go right. They're going to need a couple of cautions in a row real quick to be able to get their cars back on the kind of tires they need them. 44 car, David Green.
Harry Gant on pit road. This is lap 81. 200 laps the distance. 15-minute break in the midst. I like this format a lot. Gant goes right back to the garage. More like a Saturday afternoon football game, where you got a halftime break. They do a little work, get a little coaching, make a little change if necessary. Take a look at Joe Nemechek up on the outside in that 87. Gets around Michael Waltrip. That was 7th. Nemechek now in 7th. As he checks out in turn number 1, goes looking for Jeff Burton in the 6th position. Brother Ward Burton is in 2nd. Looks still showing 25 cars in the lead lap.
I keep bringing up questions all the time. We got a guy that if his can answer. Dick Berger, what's going on?
Well, Neil Bonnet, you were wondering when they were going to get a chance to change right side tires, and the answer is 19 laps from now. At the drivers' meeting this morning, it was announced that under the 15-minute break that they take, they can change 4 tires. That's the only time all day long, under caution or any special circumstances, besides a green flag, they can change 4. There's a lot of tongues hanging out waiting for those 19 laps to wind down.
There you see Nemechek and Waltrip. Now, let's take a gander at the interval between 1st and 2nd. It is shortening up. It's down to 1 4/10. It's almost to 1 8, 1 9 a little while ago. So as we get to mid-race, it may be that Martin is trying to just ease that car through to halfway, Neil.
Let me tell you, you got to start thinking about that. If they know they've been wearing the left side tires out, the thing is so short, they want to get to that halfway. You don't want to pop one of these things and bounce that thing off the wall. So I'm sure these drivers are starting to think about that. We got a call a while ago that Earnhardt said his car had a tremendous amount of push in it, which possibly could have wore the left front out and then starting to slide with one front wheel really holding. So a lot of these guys are kind of pacing themselves now.
Let's get the story on what happened to Harry Gant.
Harry Gant, what's the deal? Well, the car was running really good, you know, the French's Mustard Chevrolet. It just got to skipping early when I let Michael go by. I felt like I could go. I'd been sort of laying back and started running real hard and started skipping, so we tried to ride it out, but finally it quit.
Harry, about 6 guys in the last 15 minutes come in here with engine-related problems. Any reason that you could put on that?
Well, in my opinion, V6 will not run 300 miles, you know. So we got a 300-mile race here. We practiced 100 and run 100 yesterday, so we had 500 miles. I told Ed, I said, we very seldom ever practice any because they just can't seem to go that distance.
You know, Ken, I've said that over and over. I joked about it. The guy that invented the V6 engine is also the guy that invented the engine hoist, and he needs some more work again. These things are good little motors. They're powerful, shortcut stuff. But when you put them on these big racetracks, I'm telling you, there are little bombs going around. And we're 17 up the other day, 12 the following day. How many are we going to see today? It gets expensive with those things going on.
That little blue bomb down on the inside is Grissom. He is in 16th position in this race. Remember, he leads the point battle. David Green is in 2nd. Green is a lap behind him in 25th spot. You're seeing him back there with Todd Bodine, the 31 and the 34. That's a 15th place battle, and Grissom has just taken another spot. He is in the lead lap. David Green, second in Grand National points, is one down. And, of course, after this race, there remain 4 in the Busch Series. October the 17th, Martinsville, Virginia. October the 23rd, Rockingham, North Carolina. November 7th, to the heart of stock car racing, Hickory, North Carolina, not too far from where we are today. And November 13th, that's decision weekend. Atlanta, Georgia, the Grand National Championship on Saturday to be decided. On Sunday, the Winston Cup title. 88 complete. We're going to take a short break and then be back for the finish of the first half of the All-Pro 300 live on TBS from Charlotte. One pops the tire inside of 2 seconds. Number 72, Tracy Leslie, found the wall hard up here in turn 3. Not that hard. You can see it still coming around. Let's take a look again at what happens.
Boy, he's up in the wall. They got into it going in 3. He's going to ride it all the way around.
Tried to ride it all the way
around. Let me tell you what happens. You see him coming around, and now he's going to start. Once the car starts to the right on him all of a sudden, he comes across. See, he doesn't have the control. That popped the tire right there. Okay, the thing, I don't know if we're going to pick it up or not, but Ernie Irvan was coming up on him and almost ran over him. He should come. There he comes right there. They started to go left, started to go right. There's that left front blown out.
This was at lap 90 that this happened. Remember, we run this race in halves. It's a 200-lap race. Let's go to Dick Bergman.
Well, Tracy Leslie has already been in here once, Ken Squire. They've taken off the right side tires. I got a good look at them. There's not much tread left on that right front tire, but there is a little bit. He will have to return to pit road because the front wheels aren't even close to pointing in the correct direction. He has bent a steering arm somewhere up in the front end, and Leslie is going to have to come in and get that fixed. The car isn't going to steer without doing that work, and he will be in.
Yeah, Dick, you're right. Looks like he's got a lot of work to do, that car, just to get in where he can finish the race. See, back down pit road. He's coming in. He's going to take the left side off this time. Oh, he couldn't get into his pit. Oh, he's going behind the wall. He's not got enough damage. He's going to have to take it behind the wall and work on it.
Running 20th when he got in trouble up here in turns 3 and 4. Tracy Leslie won on some super speedways. Remember, he won at Talladega. He won at Michigan, too, in ARCA racing. Let's take a look again. Maybe we can see right when he tapped it.
We'll see him going up the wall. There he was by Bobby Donner. He got up into that outside wall. Looks like that left front tire might still be up. I don't know if he just, what the deal was, but he sure got in that wall real hard. And boy, I'm telling you, he missed a chance to get run over when he came back across
Neil,
the track.
have you done any testing here recently at Charlotte?
I've done some, not real current, but pretty.
Well, they've been doing some work on turn 4. I mean, they've been doing a lot of work. They shaved it down. They put in, they call it black cement. It's really got just a pigmentation in it so that it isn't so evident. But they've really tried, and yet you watch, in particular that in-car camera, it looks like an old-fashioned washboard up there.
Well, what you get into, Ken, you get down in the middle of that corner, and you don't have any choice. You got to stand wide open to throttle. You're sitting there with the throttle wide open. Car's really bouncing and jumping, hopping around, and I mean, you got to stay on top of it off of turn 4 to get the car off there without having a problem anyway. So it makes the drivers work really hard on that particular part of the track.
Let's make a note as they get one lap to go here in the second half of this race to talk a little bit about tomorrow's event and these regulations that NASCAR have put in to try to slow it down, and instead what they've made is a race different than we've seen here in probably a decade and a half.
You're right, Ken. We hear the Busch drivers talking about it didn't seem to affect their cars, but the exact reverse over in the Winston Cup garage. It's going to do what they want to do. It's going to slow it down because of the pucker power from the driver trying to hang on. I'm telling you, without that spoiler, without that downforce, these guys are having to fight the race car. After 10 or 15 or 20 laps, I mean, the guys that are willing to wrestle all day, they're going to be up front. The rest of them are going to have to be in spoil.
Ready got a restart with Mark Martin in first, Ward Burton in second, Ernie Irvan third, Chuck Bound fourth, Earnhardt fifth, Jeff Burton sixth, LaJoy in seventh, Parsons eighth, Nemechek, Waltrip round out the top 10. Quickly to Johnny Hayes.
Ken, I just want to let you know why nobody stopped. We only have 10 laps to go. If you stop, it'd cost you about $1,200 for a few tires. So they decided, hey, we'll pass on that expense, just ride to the end and hold on. We'll make our adjustments at the halfway time.
Now, there's the difference between Winston Cup and Grand National.
Yeah, they're trying to be cost conscious. Winston Cup, they say, hey, we got an open checkbook. Give me some tires. These guys here have to be concerned. And not only that, the series itself makes them use a limited amount of tires.
94 laps complete as they take green.
Burton had trouble on the start.
Burton had trouble coming up through the gears, fell back 3 or 4 spots. He now has it in motion, but evasive action had to be taken by Ernie Irvan, or he would have been, Burton would have been drop kicked, and they're still loose, and now there's trouble up in turn 3. Going into 4. I'm not sure what that snarl continued. It was an accordion effect, and that's Jeff Burton in number 8. The Baby Ruth car. It was Ward Burton as they throw out the caution. They're going to race back to the flag.
Irvin's racing the 60 car back to the line.
This could be it, and this first 95 laps are complete. 95 complete as they come to the line. Earnhardt up to 4th. Just in front of Inbound in 3rd. Ernie Irvin in 2nd. And Mark Martin. Now let's take a look again at what happened out here.
Again, they go down in the corner, and nobody
Brother
can go
against
fast.
brother.
Yep, it looked like he got in the back of his brother, shot him up the track. He hit the other car above him, and now backs up. Oh, look, is that Walter B. Penn on the wall, the yellow car?
I'm not sure. Rodney Combs in that one car was lucky.
The 20 car of Randy LaJoie has a tremendous amount of damage on the nose. Looks like he got in the back of the 8 car.
Now there is the 8 car. That's the other Burton brother. And Jeff Burton's car really got crunched, and there is his brother's car that was running in 2nd. And right on the start, that car backed up 2 complete rows.
I think the rows about 3 in front of him really started it. You go down in that corner, and the tires don't stick on any restart. Plus, these tires are worn out, so they had to just look at the nose of the 20 car.
Boy, I bet they're thrilled that they're coming to halfway, and they can do some work on this. LaJoie is last week up at, was it Rosemont, where he was 2 laps down. He still came home in 4th, and that's what got him the ride. Today he's done a couple of 360s and fought himself back into the top 10. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. It looks like 1 lap they're going to turn him loose.
There's Burton. The 2 car went down pit road when they're giving 1 to go here. He had trouble on that restart. The other Burton, the 8 car is coming down. There's we see the 2 car, Ward Burton.
Neil, what they're saying is the car just wouldn't take off in gear, that Jeff Burton car. The number 2 car, let me get that right.
Yeah.
Number 2 car, Ward Burton, just would not take off.
See him spinning that right rear wheel.
Yep.
They're checking. That means there's either an axle broke or the rear end housing. There's something about the rear and they didn't feel comfortable with him. We couldn't get up to speed, so they're checking that also.
Todd Bodine pitted, and he's back out. Now you see the 8 car, and that is Jeff Burton working on that one.
And that's the radiator, folks, and he's not going anywhere. He evidently knocked the radiator out when he hit it, ran in the back of his brother. The NASCAR inspector pointing down there, he's not going to let him go out on that racetrack with that much fluid coming out, cause more accidents.
Talk about sibling rivalry. All right, we're getting back down. 96 laps complete, coming to halfway.
Is this when you go say, Mama, he hit me? You don't tell your mother about these kind of things. You used to work with kids.
Well, his mom, I think, is a scorer, so not only does she know, but she'll probably have a few words with the boys and his dad, their dad. Pace car back in. They'll have 97 complete when they come back.
What's going to be interesting on this, just a few laps to go, but Ernie Irvan has came from the rear of the field, and he's right there with the 60 car, and see if he can do anything with Mark Martin.
Chuck Bound riding 3rd, Earnhardt in 4th, Michael Waltrip in 5th, and LaJoie in 6th, with a nose on that one bloody, car number 20, followed by Phil Parsons in 7th, away. Coming around a complete 98, and here comes 41 to the inside. Ernie Irvin's going to go for it. Battle for the lead. Who would have expected this? Martin had everybody covered, and his tires going away perhaps a little. Ernie Irvin down to the inside, gets it sideways. Here they come, flying. One car brushing the wall. One car in turn all the way up, but he's able to keep on it. Last week's winner, Sadler's brushed the wall. He's running about 40 miles an hour down the main straightaway. He'd better get it in. He's in a bad spot.
The 41 and the 60 are side by side. Sadler's not going to be able to get off the track. They're going to put the caution out, setting in a terrible place on the racetrack.
Field coming around. They're battling for first place. Martin on the outside. Ernie Irvin on the inside. As they come back to line, now the 25 catches fire. He pulls away just in time as the field comes up on it. He drops to the bottom of the track. What a moment. 99 complete. They'll put out a caution at the end of this lap and bring him down. As they come around, the leader is Mark Martin with Ernie Irvin in second spot. Going third is Chuck Bound. Earnhardt runs in fourth. Dramatic first half of this race.
Boy, Irvin made a strong run at the 60 car. Mark Martin couldn't get around. Mark Martin's pull right on that front again.
Halfway in caution, Neil, being shown. There to the stripe.
I feel like a timeout. I'm sure they do after all this right here at the halfway mark.
Well, that one looked like it was going to end up in a snarl as Hermie Sadler's car came to almost a complete stop if it didn't stop, and then it fired just at the last moment. You could see the starter with a caution in his hand. You knew that Les Richter and company in the control tower were saying it's now, and they were probably on the count of 2-1 to drop that yellow down. Car took off. So we were able to complete the first half of the race. This is a counting lap that will bring them to 101. Mark Martin will win the first half. Bernie Irvin gave him a really good run at the finish. Chuck Bound, having a terrific day, is in third. Earnhardt is in fourth at the finish. And Michael Waltrip from 40th up to 5th spot. Phil Parsons having a great race. He finishes in 6th. We'll give you more of the story of the first half and look forward to the next portion of the event after we pause for these messages from Charlotte. And let's go down now to Dick Berger.
And I'm with a guy who's led this thing all the way through. Mark Martin, what are they going to do to your car in this break?
Just put a new set of tires on it and fill it up with gas.
How about changing the air pressure? They're going to try to adjust it, make it go still faster?
It's pretty good right now. It's just, you know, we need to keep the thing going all the way. We've won the easy part. The hard part's coming up. But I don't think that Winn-Dixie car's ever run any better than today.
What was Ernie Irvin doing on your tail? Can you handle him?
Believe it or not, I was out of gas on that restart, and it took a while for the gas to get over to the pickup and get to running. But car's strong.
Okay, Johnny Hayes.
Yes, have Dale Earnhardt. Dale, are we having a good time?
Oh, yeah, having a great time. Things are running along pretty good. The car started pushing off the corner there, and I slowed down after I'd run them down pretty good, and I was just sort of wanting another caution there about 40 before that halfway to get my left sides changed. We wore one down into the corner. 100 laps is quite a long time on tires.
Well, I'm sure they're anxious to see you when they get back.
Yeah, if we keep her heading in the right direction here, I think we'll be okay.
Thanks a lot. Back up to you, Ken.
Rick Benjamin has a word for us.
Quite a performance by Earnhardt in the first half of this All-Pro Auto Parts 300 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Started 35th, advanced to 4th here at the halfway point. You know, when you come to a super speedway, especially the Charlotte Motor Speedway, you're certainly going to run into a lot of opportunities to spend a few dollars. This is what's going on across the way from the Speedway, Souvenir Alley. Humpy Wheeler and the folks here at Charlotte provide an entire area for those who sell the drivers' T-shirts and hats and so forth to park their trailers. Big crowds here earlier this morning. Folks enticed in to buy some Dale Earnhardt merchandise, perhaps Earnhardt's merchandise the most popular, really, at this point of the season on the Winston Cup Tour. And folks aren't really shy. You know, you hear that the economy may not be very good. Lots of people coming forward to buy some Davey Allison memorabilia. Very important this year. Dale Earnhardt Boulevard signs. Everyone wants to remember what a great competitor Davey Allison was. Fans of all ages really get into it here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and they really do come forward to turn two and pick these items up. Hats and T-shirts are reasonably priced. How about a $200 Rusty Wallace Penske Racing uniform jacket? That would look mighty good in your closet indeed. In any case, everyone here at Charlotte Motor Speedway having a great time this weekend, and we're all looking forward to tomorrow's Mellow Yellow 500 for the Winston Cup cars. Mark Martin, your leader at halfway. We'll be back. For halftime here at today's All-Pro Auto Parts 300 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Let's take a look back at what's happened after 102 laps. We've had 4 lead changes. 3 different drivers have led the event, but Mark Martin's been the class of the field. We're averaging a little over 116 miles an hour because of the 7 cautions for 25 caution laps, and already 10 cars have dropped out of the 44-car starting lineup here this afternoon at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Ken?
So, 34 cars remaining in competition. The count's at 8:32 before we get this thing rolling a second time. Let's go to Dick Berger.
Well, Ken Squire, a major good break for Mark Martin. They just lifted the hood under that car, to see what was going on underneath, and they found a broken bolt that holds the alternator in place. They're going to replace that. If they had not found that, chances are he would have had problems in the second half. I'm with Chuck Bound right now. He's had a terrific first half. You ran that whole way on one set of right side tires. What's going to happen with 4 new ones on this car?
Well, I hope I can keep up with that number 60, but I tell you, he's awesome. I don't know. Ernie gave him a run right there at the end, but I kind of think Mark's been on cruise control. He's tough. The rest of us are racing our hearts out, though.
Your best Charlotte finish is 8th. Last time here. Are you going to break that record this afternoon?
I certainly hope so. I'd like to get some of that money and maybe even that $50,000 bonus. I got one of those checks that'll help you on the dashboard here. We'd like him to sign it in victory lane for the Nescafe Pontiac team.
These guys are all watching that $50,000 bill. Johnny Hayes?
Yes, I'm down with Ward Burton and Freddie Fryer. They're getting ready to make a few changes to their car, trying to get ready. Ward, how you think it's going to be?
Well, Johnny, we've been to the rear, we've been to the front. Mark's running pretty strong. We've had a little problems that we've had to try to solve, but my Hardy's team is working hard for me, and it got the Chevrolet running pretty good.
You're running super, and the car real strong. Good luck to you.
Thanks a lot, Johnny.
Dale Earnhardt's the first guy ready to run. He was out here at just about the 8-minute mark. I think that's a psych job.
That's part of that intimidator deal. I don't need to get
I don't need anything.
I don't need the fan. I don't need a drink of water.
Let's
I'm ready
start
to go.
racing right now. I liked all that business about all those T-shirts and those $200 jackets.
Let me tell you
still
what.
have those $395 Neil Bonnet T-shirts over there?
Let me tell you what. I'm gaining on them. I sold 3 T-shirts from Talladega with a car upside down, so I'm working on them now.
Let's take a quick look at the running order here after the first half of the All-Pro 300 in Charlotte Motor Speedway in Grand National Competition. Martin Irvin, Chuck Bown, Earnhardt, Michael Waltrip from 40th to 5th. Phil Parsons from back, 41st up to 6th. What a run he's having today. Phil's been having his problems keeping a ride, but he keeps coming out here and showing a lot of true grit. There you see Mike Wallace in 7th. Marlin back in the 12th position. Nemechek, who started up front, he's fallen back. Bobby Dotter, who was the pole sitter, is holding on in the 13th position. Grissom, the leader in the Grand National point standings, is 15th. Resendez, he's running in 16th. LaJoy coming back up again. Remember, he was up to 2nd, spun around, went all the way to the rear, fighting his way through. David Green, number 2 in points, being shown in 24th spot. As you look for the rest of the field, here's how they are. That's after 102. It took them 2 laps to get them whoed. 98 laps will remain when we come back out. Hey, race fans, Budweiser asks, who won? July 92, New Hampshire International Speedway. Kenny Wallace, car 36, started from the pole. But before long, it was number 20, Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Spencer. Hutch Strickland in car 92 was working his way through the field. Starting from 13th, Todd Bodine's number 34 was seeking his 2nd season win. And Jeff Burton in car 8 had to work the entire race to get to the front from 23rd. Who won? Here's the list of contenders, and we'll be back with the answer in a moment. 92 at New Hampshire, you're right, and here's what happened. Kenny Wallace, number 36, in a spirited battle with Joe Bessie when the two came together, knocking Wallace from contention. Jimmy Spencer's hopes dashed when he tangled with the car of Jeff Gordon and the 91 of Clifford Allison. Hutch Strickland's best run of the year ended with ignition failure. With the major competition having problems, Todd Bodine was cruising to victory till a brake problem sent him sliding. Bodine's problems cleared the way for Jeff Burton, who held on for his 3rd career win. Who Won is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. The car that has led the entire distance with about 2 minutes left before we turn them loose is seemingly in trouble. Let's go down and get a report from Dick Bergman.
He's in big trouble, Ken Squire. We told you about the bolt that had broken that holds the alternator on, and we presumed that they were just going to be able to repair it. NASCAR, however, had said before this race started, the only thing you were going to be allowed to do under this particular break period were the same things you could do in a routine pit stop. That does not, by the definition that they have just adopted, include pulling any bolts out and replacing them. The team would like to put tie wraps around this thing to try to hold it on. Why? They say they cannot finish the race without that alternator. They're convinced it's going to fall off the car if they don't tie it on. NASCAR says, no, if you touch that alternator, you go to the back of the pack. High drama on pit road.
Martin has led 95 of 102 laps thus far. Randy has a story that bears on tomorrow.
Well, we're waiting for Jeff Gordon to come back. Went to get me a Coke, guys. He saw a little crippled person. He said, I need anything to drink. I'll be right back. So we'll get to him just a second. Johnny Hayes.
Yes, Michael Waltrip is flying, folks. He's got a little bit of a clutch problem, but he has trouble starting. But once he gets going, so keep your eyes on Michael. He's not out of this thing yet.
Car number 60 is being pushed away. They're going to fire it up the way it is.
You know, we heard him say, when we interviewed him right after he got out of the car, all we're going to do is put 4 tires on it, put some gas in it. It didn't turn out that way. I was wondering when they said they had a broken bolt at driver's meeting, they said you can't change it. You got to do a normal pit stop.
And here comes the Coke for the old-timer there.
Hey, Jeff, first of all, you got the 99 car out there. Where's your headset? No spotting today?
Well, I just heard the motor starting. I had to go get me a piece of pizza and a Coke, but I'm running. I'm on my way back there.
Well, you still have that gleam in your eyes. You're sitting on the pole for tomorrow's Mellow Yellow 500. Your first pole as a rookie. Congratulations. What can you expect for tomorrow?
Well, I'm just glad that we qualified on Wednesday, because now I get to enjoy being on the pole for a little bit longer than usual. But I tell you, my car is just driving really, really good, and there's 4 or 5 other guys out there that are going to be real tough, and of course everybody's going to be tough. But it's hard to say. We're going to wait for this practice here before the race or after the Busch race, and I think with the body changes, the cars are going to be, you got to be careful in traffic. So that's what we're going to have to watch out for. Thank you.
All right, that's Jeff Gordon, and we're going to talk some more about what kind of a race we're going to have here tomorrow as we continue in the second half of the All-Pro 300. Neil Bonnet, Ken Squire topside, Dick Bergen, Randy Pemberton down below, and Rick Benjamin in the pit center as the field is rolling out. Jeff Gordon becoming the youngest Winston Cup pole winner in over 40 years. Go back to 51 or 52 to check on Greg Fielding's book to see what that was. Probably Donald Thomas or something like that. Well, here we go, ready to roll. You got those books? You read those books?
I got
statistician done.
I got a full copy of them, and every time I ask him a question, he tells me I should read my books for him. He's got stuff in the books I can't even remember, and I did part of it.
Taking a look at the race story thus far, it's been pretty much Mark Martin and cautions. A total of 7 cautions in the first portion of this race. First 100 laps, and they ran 2 laps under caution and brought them in. We've lost 10 cars. We have Mark Martin in front, Ernie Irvin, Chuck Bound, the top 3. I'd like to know a little bit more about that Chuck Bound car, because what a turnaround has taken place in the last 30 days with that team. Larry Pearson's cars come back out. Remember we mentioned earlier, there it is, the Stanley Tool car back on the track. And Larry Pearson set for a full ride for the entire Grand National Busch Series next year.
You see him snugging those belts down. Had that time out, got out of the car. Well, not necessarily him, they were working on his car, but he got out, he's tightening those belts up, and ready this last hand.
Dick Bergen may be able to enlighten us on that number 63 car.
Ken Squire, they've gone back to basics is essentially what they've done. For the last couple of years, they've been trying different chassis, trying to make something work. They have changed just about everything and gone back to what they used to do. And guess what? It's working for Chuck Bound.
They've completed lap 103. We'll take a quick commercial break and come back to some racing. A couple more laps before they turn them loose. Second spot, it's Ernie Irvin. Third in the All-Pro 300, Chuck Bound. In 4th, it's Dale Earnhardt. And in 5th position, Michael Waltrip. Dick Bergen, give us the story on car number 60, Mark Martin, that leader.
Ken Squire, if you're a Mark Martin fan and you got fingernails, that's good, because now it's time to start chewing on them. They're not going to bring this car in. They're going to try to go all the way with it. One of these batteries will go just about 100 laps if it starts off on full charge. To make sure that happens, they've shut off everything, even the fan on the radiator, to try to conserve electricity. Will he make it all the way?
Right along that line, Dick, we saw them push him on. They didn't even let him use the starter. They shoved him on to crank his engine for this restart.
105 laps complete. Those were counting laps as they brought that field up to speed. They're now in the back straightaway under green, coming around to complete 106 of 200 in the All-Pro 300 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Battle for third. Earnhardt there in that number 3 car, bottom of the racetrack. Chad Little alongside, and here comes Michael Waltrip down on the bottom.
Waltrip had some clutch problem. He bent that brake pedal over and worked on the mechanical part of the clutch up there, but once he gets it rolling, it gets the job done.
We're not sure just how much work they got done on the 30. The interesting car is that number 20, the Fina car that is being driven by Randy LaJoy. That looks, except for the tape, about like when it started the race, and that one got all chopped up a little earlier. A lot of work done on that, but that bolt was not replaced on car Tracy Leslie gets back out of the track. 107 complete. The story is right there. Mark Martin in front, and there is that number 20, but it's not handling too well, as you can see, for Randy LaJoie, the Moroso car. Bill Elliott closing in on the outside.
A lot of damage in that wreck going down in turn 1 on the restart just before the end.
LaJoie back in 20th position. Meanwhile, back up front, Ernie Irvan in second spot, closing on the black number 60 of Mark Martin. Ford against Chevy.
He's shown the ability to stay closer than anyone with Mark Martin all day. You know, we saw him on that restart a while ago jump out there and try to pass Mark. Mark said he was running out of fuel. It looks like the 41 car of Ernie Irvan is able to stay with Mark better than anyone has all day.
Chuck Bound having a great run, stays third. Battle for the lead. Irvan to the inside. Thinks better of it.
I think he took a look to the inside and then think of Mark Martin. Oh, there goes Ernie Irvan blowing up right in front of some people. Boy, that thing went off like a hand grenade going down in turn 1. I think that was Chuck Bound directly behind him. Did a good job not to run over him.
When the fuse blew on that one, it looked like it was going to be an emergency all the way down to about the 30th position. Everybody in a gaining war going into turn number 1, and the second place car unhinges an engine. He kept it up in one lane, tried to keep it just in that single lane so that he wouldn't be crossing over in case anything had come out underneath. So we have another caution at lap 110. Say goodbye to Ernie Irvan. His hopes today are gone. He sure looks forward to tomorrow in that Robert Yates ride. Do what he did in Darlington and win. We'll see tomorrow. We'll see about this race again in a moment. Look again at what happened to Modesto, California's Ernie Irvan down here in turn number 1 while he was running in second place.
He was really making some moves on Mark Martin trying to pass him. Watch him go down. This is a V6 meltdown. You go down in the first turn, he's turning the motor on. Look at the thing explode. But look at Chuck Bound behind him. Good move. Dart to the left. Ernie did the right thing. Got up there out of the way. Staying out of everyone's way.
Take a look right now as you ride with Mark Martin in regular time.
You know, we saw Ernie try to make that move off turn 4. Here they are going down the first turn. See the car dropping back. It's losing ground. It was fixing to go away. See Ernie dart to the right. Good move on his part. Keep wrecking the rest of the field.
About a quarter of a second to make the right call. Randy is standing by with Ernie Irvan. He is not there. Understood that he was ready to go in. A quick word from Rick Benjamin.
Well, Ken, the folks at Stanley Tool in New Britain, of course, they sponsor Larry Pearson's Mac Martin Motorsports team in the Busch Grand National Series. They're also sponsoring our Pitt Communications Center today, and they brought us this visitor, this roll-away tool chest, a beautiful upper and lower combination chest. We were going to make a special award today of this to one of the deserving entries in today's All-Pro Auto Parts 300, but we've got a better idea. Stanley is going to donate this to the Boiling Springs High School folks for their shop classes, District 2 in South Carolina. Larry and Kathy Pearson, Larry, of course, drives the Stanley Tool car. They're going to take this down and deliver it to the school in person in the days ahead. So that's our special award here from the Stanley Pitt Communications Center today.
Randy?
Ernie, I guess, blew up, huh? He has. You know, I tell you, it was a pretty exciting day, though. You know, it was the first day with Mac Tools and Texaco and Avalon on my Busch car, and my last race in my own car is a Chevrolet. So hopefully my Ford luck will be a little better start next year.
You were challenging Mark. Does that happen? Did you know it was going to happen?
No, it didn't. You know, it just all of a sudden happened. You know, it just something broke inside the motor. I think I broke a crankshaft, but you know, we'll get her better next year.
Okay, good luck tomorrow.
Okay.
Green flag coming out. Martin first, Bound second, Earnhardt third, Michael Waltrip fourth, Parsons fifth, Ricky Craven the sixth, Nemechek seventh, Todd Bodine and eighth, Michael Wallace in ninth, Terry Labonte rounds out the top 10. Steve Grissom finds himself 12th.
It's a terrible feeling here to be chasing the guy and you see him put that distance in you. That's what Mark does every time this thing restarts.
But here comes Bound right back again, Neil.
Well, the draft to pull him up that straightaway. Where Mark seems to be strong is coming up off those corners. Boy, it's corner. Watch him right here.
And look at Bound get a little high, and here comes Earnhardt to the inside.
Slipped just a little bit. Earnhardt got on the inside. Martin pulls over, so that draft works to him a little bit.
Here comes Michael Waltrip right with Earnhardt on the bottom. Bound up on the high side for turn 1. by the condominiums and into turn 2. About 70,000 folks, it looks like, out here today enjoying this Grand National race. Sold out for tomorrow. A bit of room in the infield if you want to come out and see some great racing.
Boy, Mike Waltrip thought about putting it 3 deep right there, 3 wide, getting in the corner. Earnhardt was able to make the pass on Chuck Bound.
Tim Fettewa, that 55 car, trying to make up a lap. Fettewa's back in 20th spot. There are 19 cars now in the lead lap, and Fettewa in the 55, trying to get himself back in there. Hey, hey, hey. Bottom of the first, Philadelphia, Atlanta, just getting underway. You've got to be for Atlanta. You're going to be in trouble.
Well, I've been to several ball games this year. You know,
so you're for Philadelphia.
You live in certain areas, you get over there and chop right along with them.
Chop. Here comes Mark Martin. He is looking like an axe murderer right out there this afternoon against this field. Whittling everybody down the side. But there's a problem with car number 60. Can it stay there? That's the question, particularly when you have number 3, Dale Earnhardt, breathing down your back.
And where they're going to see this problem, we see Earnhardt trying to run it down with the 60 car. What'll happen is that battery loses power from running this engine. These ignition systems are real high frequency, high voltage. So what it'll do, the motor will actually just start slowing down. It'll get slower, and then it'll start messing. So what we've got to watch for is maybe that thing had enough charge in it that it'll make it rust away. But if it does anything, it just slows the fire down and he'll lose power.
Now Bound has been able to sustain 3rd. Earnhardt was able to get beneath him, but Michael Waltrip is still back there in 4th, chewing away on Chuck Bound's 3rd place. Battle for 5th a little further back. There you see Herbie Sadler in that 74 car down on the inside. Tim Fettewa falling back a bit. He was trying to make up that lap to yellow number 55. And Todd Bodine goes around him on the outside. Todd is running in 6th. Phil Parsons in the 29, just barely in front of him, the white and blue car.
Will Parsons, Todd Bodine, Nemechek. Left Donner right behind Nemechek. These guys have got to be thinking, and they know that they can't make a real long run on those left side tires without really using them up. So you'd think they would be pacing themselves, but Mark Martin is not going to let anyone pace himself. They're going to have to run hard to even keep up with him.
119 of 200 laps complete as Martin draws away by 8 car lengths. You know, every race that he's finished, he's won in this Grand National category this year. Where he's lost was DNF and did not finish. If it was running at the finish, it took the checker.
That's a pretty good reason. Look how it runs when it is running. The thing he's got usually comes to the Busch races with the strongest car to track and a good handle. Looked like the Herbie Sadler just blew up going in turn 3. Now he's coasting 4.
Yeah, he's in.
He's had trouble off and on all day, and looks like the engine went away now.
Chuck Bound is catching up with Earnhardt going down into turn number 3. Take a look at that run. He's coming to the inside. Earnhardt fading a bit here. And there's 74 in the wall, Sadler.
Oh, hey.
And he tags the inside wall hard.
Didn't have any steering left. Somebody would say, well, why did he just run in the wall? He hit that outside wall, tore the right front wheel off the car, headed down toward that inside, and there's no way to steer it. Right. That's a water barrier, though. Charlotte Motor Speedway, they put a water barrier right there to absorb some of that energy, and it worked.
Those water barriers, there's 2 or 3 new kinds of barriers, and they're making a big difference. That would have been an even harder rock for Herbie Sadler. So Martin comes across in front. That was Johnny Benson Jr. in the Staff America car. Sadler come in. Benson Jr., remember he flipped at Michigan? That's the guy.
Elvira here, Mistress of the Dark and sometimes Surfer Babe, because Coors Light is the official beer of Halloween and the parties at the beach. Malibu Beach, where you can hang.
But a strange situation is developing here. I think Pit Road is still officially closed, but number 60, Mark Martin, has come on down in there.
See the red flag?
The red flag.
That's the man that says if it's open. Mark went on out. Now, I don't know if they're going to accept that.
And 44 has come in. Let's see.
You know, that's going to be a hard call right there. He didn't pit, but he came down pit road. I don't know how they're going to police that.
Tracy Leslie has come in. Of course, he's a few laps down in the 72 car as they continue to work on the Benson car. Let's get the Benson story finished here and see exactly what happened to this guy in his second ride. He tore up one car at Michigan. Now, here's the second incident in his career.
He's already hit the wall. He's coming back across traffic. He's headed down. Boy, see that water barrier? Man, hit that inside wall. There's another shot. He's scraping around the wall. This camera's mounted right off a turn forward. They're coming across traffic. He's lucky somebody didn't drill him right there. Tommy Houston barely missed him. Then he goes down that inside barrier. He's been in 2 Busch races upside down at Michigan, and then in this lick right here. Getting a pretty tough initiation to Busch racing. You know,
Johnny Benson Jr. And pit road, as we understand it, is still closed. Now we see the 44 car rolling again. David Green, second in points, is coming out. And we're trying to get confirmation as to what this is all about.
Yeah, I tell you what, Ken, in the driver's benefit, that red flag, we show a shot of him standing back in the truck, but he's right in the middle of all those wreckers and ambulances. And at that wreck, it might have been hard to see that green flag down there, or the red.
The ambulance was covering the road.
It's hard to say. There were so many vehicles in that area.
I think Rick Benjamin has more on this story. Dick Bergman has more.
Yeah, I do, Ken Squire. Jack Roush is spotting for the car 60 today, and he is the one that called Mark Martin in. And his view of that pit road flag, according to crew chief Bobby Leslie, was completely occluded. He could not see the flags at all, did not know that pit road was closed. This was a legitimate mistake. So far, we have not heard of any penalties for Mark Martin.
Right side tires are being changed on Randy LaJoie's car number 20 for Moroso. Now, there are the spotters up on top.
Trying to see where Jack Roush is up there. I'm not... Don't see. There's Jack right there with a hat on.
Yeah.
And he's holding his head. He's, I didn't mean to call him in that lap. But I'm just telling you, it could be a really legitimate mistake. There's some signs down there, plus there were so many safety vehicles in the area.
Race control, we are being told, is now telling them on the radio that number 60 has got to be pulled out and sent to the rear.
He's parked on the edge of turn 3 over there. As good as his car's running, going to the rear is not going to be that bad a penalty. What would have been worse would have pitted on pit road, changed the tires, and then been, go a lap down. And so this is their best thing they can do, just stop and regroup. You got to roll them, you know, you don't go in last.
See him flip that helmet back down. Ricky Craven, we understand, had that popped up for a moment and took some speedy dry and drove with it in his eyes for 90 laps in that DuPont car number 99 at in the first half of the race, and he was administered to in that halftime. They got in there and cleaned his eyes for him, but going to look pretty bloodshot for a day or two. Now Martin is in. You can be sure he's going to go for some rubber. Everybody else is in. Waltrip, Michael Waltrip, Earnhardt.
This might just make for a lot better race with Mark in the rear. The way that thing of his runs, he can come up through that traffic.
Mark Martin in 93, 11 races, 5 wins, and 6 DNFs. Anything that he's taken a checker in, or anytime he's finished, he has taken a checkered flag, is what I meant to say. Finishes, he wins every one of them thus far. We'll see what happens now. There are 125 laps complete.
Starting on the rear field, we've already seen some of the guys able to come from the rear that had to run the consolation race or the last chance race that wasn't as fast as Mark Martin's car. He can come from back there and still win this race.
You'd think, Neil, if you had one brother as a driver, your chances of making it pretty good. 2 brothers, even better. To Todd Bodine, it wasn't any help at all.
The man has paid his dues. Long hours spent under the hood and under the car. He's turned more wrenches than he has laps.
I was running modifieds up north, and Jeff and Brett had been on me about moving south and trying to give it a go down here, just work and be a fabricator, mechanic, or whatever. And I did, and went to work for Robert G. and Rick Hendrick, and I worked on cars for about 5 or 6 years before I ever got driving down here.
Todd ran the occasional sportsman race with big brothers Brett and Jeff watching from the pits. But they were determined to keep him out of the car.
They knew the ups and downs race car drivers go through. It's a pretty tough life, and you got a lot of sacrifices. And they wanted me to be a fabricator or a crew chief or something of that sort. open my own body shop up or something, but
not a chance. The man wanted to race.
You can't get discouraged. Racing is 90% down. There's very little to look forward to. Things usually go wrong or bad or you get wrecked. But it's that 1-10% chance of winning or running well, and that's what you learn to look for and savor when you get it. And there's no feeling like it. You've got to earn it. You've got to earn the respect of your competitors. You've got to earn everything you get in racing is earned. And you know, you don't just go out and win races.
Wins, respect, friends, and a big-time ride. Todd Bodine has earned them all.
Todd Bodine going to be a comer next year for sure in NASCAR racing. Currently 7th in this event in that fiddle faddle number 34. Let's go to Johnny Hayes down in the Burton pits.
Yes, I have Freddie Fryer. Freddie, you dropped back. Now you're back up in front a little bit. What do you think?
Well, in the last segment there, the Ward missed a shift on that last caution and put us behind a little bit, but we made some chassis adjustments and put new tires on. I believe we'll be okay.
Good. Thank you. Also, Ken, I'd like to say hello to Hicks Martin in Nashville, Tennessee, father of crew chief Gil Martin, who's sick in the hospital.
Indeed, one lap, and we're going to send him off. And when we do, the lineup is completely shuffled. It'll be Joe Bessie up in front. Dave Resendez is being shown in second, and that may change. And Michael Waltrip in third, with Earnhardt fourth, Nemechek fifth, Parsons in sixth. Reviewing a little further back in the field, Chuck Bound would be in seventh as we get ready to send this field away again. In the next position back is Ricky Craven, followed by Ward Burton, and we have Grissom back in 10th. We have 22 cars in the lead lap.
Ken, you talk about some changes going on. See the 4 car sitting here in the garage area. Joe Nemechek, who's running the race today in the Busch Series, will drive this car this weekend. He's going to run the car. He qualified, I think, 11th place or something. So there's been a lot of changes going on with Winston Cup continuously changing drivers around.
Getting set on a restart. We've had 9 cautions. The record for this race, 11 times the flag flying. Up to 9. That was back in '84. On the break, Resendez, that's the number 97 car. In front, Michael Waltrip's Pennzoil, number 30, right behind him, and then Nemechek. Benoit, the 55 car on the outside, trying to get a lap back.
Well, after there's been a change, I think Peterson will get a lap back. Oh, look here, Mike.
3 wide.
3 wide down the back straightaway. He's been working on that front all day. Now he's got it. Look, here comes Nemechek under him also. Sees those other 2 cars high. He'd like to go with Walter. Or this little traffic jam after the restart. It takes a little while to sort it back out. Walter, once he got in the front, he's jumping out there. Looks like something Martin would do.
Martin got caught way back on some lap cars, and he hasn't been able to get him through. Now here's Martin, and you can see the rest of the field way up in front of him, going down into turn number 4. Actually, are the leaders as he is exiting turn 2.
No, they didn't turn the motor off. He's just going by him that fast. That quick race car in the back of that slower traffic, he's coming like a ball of fire. Won't take him long. He's got a straightaway, but I promise you he'll be in the middle of it before long.
He is 1 straightaway back at lap 130. 200 laps the distance if you're just joining us on this 1.5 mile track. It's the All-Pro 300, the prelude to tomorrow's great Mellow Yellow 500. 4 Winston Cup races left. They're calling it the showdown in Charlotte tomorrow.
Boy, look here, Ken. Nemechek right to the inside of Walter.
Earnhardt back in third. Bound trying to sort it out and move back in again.
Boy, Waltrip has been so good all day long. I thought when he got to the front, he'd be hard to do anything with. There goes Nemechek right around him.
Joe Nemechek, the Dentine car, a Chevrolet out in front.
Chuck Bound trying to get under the 97 car. One car slid up high, right in the groove.
Earnhardt's third. Parsons is fourth. And to fifth comes Bound.
Joe Bessie, the 97 right there. He was leading just a minute ago.
Falling back to 6th.
Just Todd Bodine we were just talking about. Trying to work his way to the front. Look who's behind, 31, Steve Grissom. He never really qualifies so well, but as the race goes on, he gets to the front.
Mark Martin trying to cut into the advantage that's been given. Nemechek, Waltrip, Earnhardt, Parsons found those top 5. Meanwhile, car number 5, Richard Lassiter, out of Little Rock, Arkansas, pulls on the pit road and back out again.
Boy, a couple of cars hit on the back straightaway. Looked like Grissom got tapped from the rear. He went all the way off the track down the inside apron.
There he is. Point leader just getting back on. Almost 6 seconds difference between the leader, Nemechek, coming across, and Mark Martin with 134 complete next time by.
I was just talking about how he got himself to the front, which is critical this points battle. Let's take a look and see if we can see what happened coming off that corner. See the 2 car right behind him. Looked like something happened. Grissom slowed quick, got tapped in the rear. Boy, he's off the racetrack down there on that real slippery stuff. Did a good job of staying straight.
Mike Wallace doing a nice evasive job.
Nemechek's falling off the pace. He's down on the apron.
The leader, Nemechek, slow on the bottom of the track in turn 3, and Waltrip is in front. Michael Waltrip takes the lead. His brother did not qualify for this race. Take a look at number 60.
Nemechek was leading the race going down the back straightaway. Just dropped over the inside. Pulled the inside. Let the leaders go by.
Mark Martin up to 14th from 22nd and then some. Had some lap cars he had to sort out.
Oh, they're working on the wrong. When they go into that hood, don't stick some tires on it. They got a big problem.
Got a spinner down at turn 3.
Boy, I mean, you wrapped the wall, too.
Craven.
Yeah, Rick Craven's car.
Rick Craven in the 99 who had trouble in the first half of the race. We were just talking about that business of getting some of that speedy dry in his eyes. Drove 90 laps that way, and he has thudded into that thing hard. Caution out. That makes 10 cautions today. This is 99. There's Craven, solid in the wall, and that's another one of the top point runners. What is he, 4th right now?
Ken, that's 1st, 3rd, and 4th fell out and within 2 laps of each other. So, I mean, it's going to really shuffle the points thing around.
Here's Craven moving around inside car number 99, and you can see just what happened out here to this driver out of New Hampshire in the state of Maine.
We're going to pick him up after he's already gotten in the wall going in the 3rd turn. Comes back down across the track. I'm telling you, we didn't pick it up. It looked like when he first made the lick, but you can tell by the damage on the front, he went straight in, right directly in the wall, rolled the whole front end back.
That was at lap 135 when he was in 7th position. Coming around to complete lap 137, and among the leaders inbound elects to pit. Todd Bodine comes in. Joe Bessie, who finally got to lead a race. First one he's led since back up in New Hampshire a year ago in July.
Yeah, just before that happened, we saw Nemechek have some trouble. Let's go down to Dick Berger. He's with him.
No, Joe Nemechek is disappointed. He's behind the wall, Neil Bonnet. Joe, what are they doing under the hood?
Well, something broke out there. We started the race. The car was running good, and then all of a sudden the motor went flat. I think something was happening to the camshaft. And on the last restart after the halfway point, all of a sudden the motor took off and was just going. And usually when that happens, they're getting ready to break. And it either broke a gear drive or a distributor or a camshaft, something like that. But, yeah, the Dead Team Sentai Chevrolet is running good. Hey, we had it, but we just need a little bit of luck.
He sure does. He's not had a great time here in Charlotte as far as finishing is concerned.
3rd in points as he came to today's race. Joe Nemechek back behind the wall, and the Lakeland, Florida runner seeing some more work being done. Remember, he had started outside of the front row. This thing got underway.
Well, I tell you, something's happened to Mark Martin's car. He's hit someone with the front end of the car because they're putting a lot of sheet metal off of it, putting duct tape on it. That might have been part of that problem with Rick Craven. We didn't see any of it. It already happened before we got there, but they're sure doing some scrambling with a 60 car.
He got a small beat. He was running back behind Craven by a pretty good margin when that happened.
You know, we saw earlier how quick he was coming up on lap cars. I don't know if that was anything to do with it or not. Yeah, good bit of damage to the car right there.
All right, we're having wholesale pit stops here, and this will change the grid when they get ready to take green once again, probably at lap 139. We're at 137 right now. Half lap gone by under green. We're at lap 140. 60 remaining, and look at this battle for the lead going down to the corner. That's LaJoie leading. There was a couple of snarls in the first half of the race. Right now, for the moment, he has the advantage. Up the outside, however, trying to take a lap back is car number 8. That's Burton. And the number 8 wheeling on the outside and getting a lap back. Jeff Burton.
That was Mike Waltrip at the yellow number 30. We saw him go 3 wide down the straightaway to get in behind LaJoie.
And Burton loses the lap again. LaJoie runs him down. He's back in front, and here comes Michael Waltrip in the second. Resendez to 79 in third, then Todd Bodine in fourth, down to the bottom. Michael Waltrip snaps it to the bottom of the track.
Take that inside line right there real quick. Looks like he's going to take, I don't know if he's going to take the lead. LaJoie drives right back up beside him in the middle of 1 and 2.
Well, that number 20 may look a little raggedy here, but it sure is giving that LaJoie quite a ride for first place. LaJoie back to the front. Back comes Michael Waltrip. Got a little assist out there from Resendez, and Todd Bodine down to the bottom. Earnhardt in that. 3 wide another time.
Boy, LaJoie and Waltrip got together coming off of turn 4. Sent LaJoie real high. Was able to hold on to it. They're 3 wide going down in turn 1. LaJoie's pinned on that outside now and getting shuffled back a little bit.
To fourth and probably the fifth right here as Earnhardt works on the bottom. Michael Waltrip first. Resendez number 79 second. Todd Bodine third.
Todd Bodine moving into second place right there. He drove down under him. Took second place away.
Todd Bodine to second. Earnhardt to third. Up to fourth. It's Chuck Bound.
We've talked about it all day long, but Chuck Bound's car is running as good as I've seen it all year long. Todd Bodine early in the race, we were telling you he'll probably be there before it's over. Getting down to the end here, and he's worked right up front.
Michael Waltrip in front, challenge. Here's Todd Bodine pulling up on the inside. Battle is for the lead. Todd Bodine working on the bottom. Michael Waltrip on the high side.
If they stay side by side, you might see Earnhardt not only made the pass, I was going to say, with a 62 car, Chuck Bound, they've been working really good together. Thought the two of them might team up the other two, but they cleared before they got in the corner.
So here's how they're deployed. As they go down the back stretch, you have Todd Bodine out in front. Earnhardt goes to second. Up into the third position. It's Chuck Bound. Resendez to fourth.
Waltrip back on the outside, pulling fourth back away from him. Not giving up.
Here comes Martin in number 60. Mark Martin down on the bottom. Working his way through. You're riding with a Winn-Dixie car in fifth spot. At lap 146, Martin closing in on Michael Waltrip.
Even though he got some damage to his car in that last caution, it paid off for him because he was so far back. Even though he had some damage, he closed him back up, and here he is right back up front again.
Oh, car in trouble. Resendez. It's Fedua. They're both in the wall. Resendez still sliding and crashing. He and Fedua got together coming off turn 4. And there's the 11th caution of the day. Riding the Stanley car with Larry Pearson.
Trying to dodge all that debris off those cars.
Resendez almost got it back.
Yeah, he had it sideways. Boy, I tell you, he's got some damage to the right side of that one.
Fedua queued up on the right side. Done. Resendez. Leaders back to the line. And let's take a look again at what happened here.
They got together coming right after they came through the first little dog leg, pinned each other against the wall right here. They moved out. Ward Burton was right behind them. The 2 car avoided them. But then watch here, he's going to slam back in that side. Look, coming Terry Labonte coming across the grass. Several of the cars cut across the apron there, trying to stay out of the way. Bumpers and pieces of cars all over the track.
Fedewa's car in for repair. Let's go down to Randy Pemberton standing by with points leader Steve Grissom.
He's the points leader, Ken, and we've got the monitor here watching his replays, and believe it or not, he ain't even watching it. He don't really care right now. Steve, bad day for you.
Well, it was, but, you know, I got to say, hey, this Channel Lock team, they kept their heads up. The car was driving good. We were a little bit off there at the first part of the race, made adjustment during the break there, and, you know, the car was working real good there at the end. The motor was running good. Unfortunately, it just didn't run good long enough, but, you know, I tell you, Ben Barnes has done a super job with us this year, and, you know, we've really not had any motor trouble this year, and, you know, to come here, we had a bad finish last week and a bad finish this week, but the last time we had 2 bad finishes, we come backed it up with 6 top 10 finishes in a row. So there's still 4 more races left, so we'll be back at Martinsville next week and try to give it another go.
Okay, thanks, Steve.
All right, thank you.
So Steve Grissom came in here at 31.75 and had David Green, well, not really contained. There's still some racing to go. Martinsville, Rockingham, Hickory, and then November 13th, Atlanta. With him dropping out at this point, Nemechek, he's really going to be a factor again as things are beginning to show themselves. Nemechek had a good run going. He comes out. He'll be back in there another time.
Well, there's so much traffic.
David Green, he's going to be back in the middle of it.
Ken, I tell you what, this will really move it back up there. We see every one of the cars coming down pit road. The traffic is so, the track is so blocked up with safety equipment. They brought the entire field down pit road, but pit road was actually closed with a red flag, so nobody could stop.
Let's take another look here.
Yeah, we should see it starting to unfold right here. See the red car out against the wall. Oh, Ward Burton was right in between them. They all got together, the yellow car and the red car right here, the 55-79 sandwich each other right in the outside wall. Burton was trying to get in between the two of them, it looked like, when they got together. There was Labonte coming out of the grass. He went all the way through the infield. There's Kenny Schrader coming out of the grass, even deeper than Labonte was.
Another look after they've bumped here.
Yeah, this is after major contact to the wall. He's going back in again.
End of Resendez Day.
Yeah.
Boy, it looks like Daytona 500 last year. Elliott.
They're coming down.
Marlin, Irvin.
Again, they're coming down pit road again, but the red flag is out. Pit road is still closed. So I guess they want to clean the track up, get all the safety equipment out of the way, then they'll open the pits for pitting. But right now, they're coming down pit road, but they can't stop.
Yeah, see, they're bringing in Resendez car from across the track, and there's been an oil down pretty severe there. If the race ended right now, Grissom would lead by 54 points over Green. Green has a chance of still picking up some more. There's Fedow's car.
That's the wrong tool to be working on one to go fast, pry bar. That's just to get them on the trailer, usually.
Short track toothpick.
Look at the damage to Mark Martin's car.
And we ought to talk about what happened to Mark Martin for just a moment here, Neil. Mr. Lucky in today's program has been Schrader. Schrader was running right in front of Mark Martin when he was trying to make up time a little earlier going down the backstretch. And that's with whom Mark Martin came in contact.
Yeah,
Take a look, and let's just ride with him here for a second. What had happened was that 99 car of Craven had crashed, and Schrader lifted. Martin had no place to go but into him, and that's why the front of number 60 is all taped up out there.
At that part of the racetrack, you're driving off the back end of the other guy's car. He was following Schrader. Schrader got stacked up, nowhere to go, and he caved the nose in, but it didn't seem to hurt it.
Here's Dick Furman.
Well, Mark Martin's car is in the pits right now. The last time they were here, they did a good job of taping up the nose and bending it back. Steve Beal from his Winston Cup team has been working on this car. Just up the pits from him is a 63 at Chuck Bound, but Mark Martin has easily beaten him back on the racetrack, and he has also beaten the 34 of Todd Bodine and Dale Earnhardt.
49 laps to go after these cars come off pit road. Track being cleared up. They want to get this one back under green. Take a guess at who's in first place. How about Randy LaJoie? LaJoie back for the first spot another time. He just keeps coming back. We'll take a short break and then be back as we get ready for more racing here at Charlotte, North Carolina, All Pro Auto Parts 300.
tonight on TBS.
Following Stanley. Since 1843, Stanley has been helping people do things right. And by Ray Bestis. Ray Bestis, the best in brakes. Green next time by, which will be lap 154, the 200 laps to be run in the All-Pro Auto Parts 300. On this restart, Randy LaJoie, Chevy, will be up in front. In second will be Mike Wallace, and Sterling Marlin, right there, started 44th today, will be third. He won this race in 1990, and all of a sudden he's back in the hunt. Had to enter through the consolation race yesterday. Here he is getting ready for a go. Following him will be Mark Martin fourth, Todd Bodine, Michael Waltrip back in seventh is Earnhardt, Chuck Bound eighth, Terry Labonte ninth, Tommy Houston is now 10th, and Bobby Goddard, pole sitter when the race began, now in 11th spot. Take a look at the baseball score here. Top of the fourth, still deadlocked. Philadelphia and Atlanta in that National League Championship Series.
We're fixing to watch this restart. We noticed the damage to Mark Martin's car earlier. Let's not forget that alternator problem. Still got to contend with that the rest of the day, and these delays doesn't help any.
47 laps are complete to go. 47 to go to the 200 distance, and on the break, Randy LaJoie puts the Fina number 20 right back out in front. We've tied for the number of cautions in the Grand National race here at 11. Back straightaway.
Well, 15 years ago, a guy named Don LaJoie, who was a terrific local stock car racer, got together with a local crew chief named Bob Johnson. They approached Dick Moroso and said, let's build a super speedway modified. Moroso agreed. That was his entree into big-time stock car racing. In 1994, Don LaJoie's son, Randy, will drive for Dick Moroso at all the Busch races. His crew chief, Bob Johnson, for Dick Moroso.
Couple of Yankees out in front. Understand you call those, you don't know that the word Yankee and damn Yankee are two separate things. Is that
we always spell them the same. Yeah. I tell you, look at Mike Wallace.
That's Joe Bessie on the inside of the main.
That's Mike Wallace.
I beg your pardon. You're dead on.
But see, he still lives up there, Ken. I'm not going to hold. Oh, look, coming through the trial, bouncing around off each other. Mike Wallace made a good move, taking the lead, and right behind him, where everybody jumping all over the place, banging around through the grass coming through that area of the track.
Mike Wallace, back straightaway. After they sorted out in the main chute here. Almost sorted out in the wall.
It's good to see someone like Mike Wallace is really running good. He's got good sponsorship on that race car. Told me before the race they'd be trying to go to the front, and they are.
Chad Little lap car on the outside there. Take a look at this again in replay.
There's Mark Martin way down the inside. See him get run off in the dirt. He saw him. He didn't want to tap Chad Little there, so he rolled out of the throttle real quick and ran through the dirt. Kept something really bad happening right there. But look at the momentum he lost. But he's got a momentum builder on the hood of that thing. He'll get it back in a hurry.
Mike Wallace in car number 9 is your leader. Todd Bodine runs in second place. Michael Waltrip comes back up to third. Earnhardt is in fourth. And down on the inside, trying for fifth as they come by, and we got a battle for the lead developing. It's Mark Martin. Give it to Todd Bodine as they enter lap 158.
Well, that got up under Mike Wallace right off that corner and took that line away from him. Right in front.
Michael Waltrip with his hands full.
Yeah, Waltrip
pulled a lap car, however, isn't it? That Chad Little up on
Oh, look at, boy, Chuck Bound's car got really loose getting in the corner. Back in, broke loose. He slid up right between 3 cars. Looking out the rear of Mark Martin's car. Chuck Bound, there's Earnhardt on that outside lane. Boy, look at Mark Martin. Yep, these guys off this one. We wondered earlier how hard he was running. You see how far he pulled up when he really needed to get going right there. He just pulled out away from him.
40 laps to go this time by. Todd Bodine first. Michael Waltrip second. Moving up the track a little, Mike Wallace, and as he does, down on the inside comes Mark Martin.
Well, Bodine's getting some breathing room. Todd Bodine really stretching it out once he took the lead.
By 20 car lengths. Todd Bodine with the advantage. Todd, how do you view yourself as a racer?
Well, I like to compare myself to Dale Earnhardt or Jeff Bodine or Mark Martin or Brett Bodine or any of them. You know, there's a lot of different ways to go about driving a race car. You can run it flat out from the beginning. You can try to pace yourself and be around at the end. And I would like to be considered down the middle. I'd like to run hard when I need to and pace myself when I need to.
Let's get a quick report from Randy.
Ricky Craven out of the hospital. They're all working on the DuPont car back here. Guys, it's hard to believe, but I think I may have it down pat, but I'm not sure. There's about 20 cars in the garage area. At least 19 that I've counted. A couple of guys have gone back and forth, but that's quite a few out of a field of 44. Last guys to retire, Bill Parsons and 10 feet away. 20 cars in this garage area back there. Unreal.
There you see Martin underneath. Michael Waltrip. That's the third. That's the second. Todd Bodine first, Mark Martin second, and Michael Waltrip third.
Oh, that's a little puff. Smoke come out of one of the cars off that corner, but it'd be a tire or something. Martin's car, once he gets that thing where he's got some open area to work with, he's got that, we've got a couple of cars touching up 3 and 4.
And there is a tire rub on that number 30.
Boy, these cars right here. Mike Wallace was outside, came up that corner, and Chuck Bound got together, really shuffling around back there. Oh, one of them was going to turn sideways, but they straightened them out.
Todd Bodine first, Mark Martin in second, Michael Waltrip third, Earnhardt fourth, Chuck Bound fifth, LaJoy sixth, Mike Wallace back to seventh. Watch Bound this replay.
I'll tell you one thing that happened right there is in between cars. This is after they'd already touched the first time. They made contact earlier, right up in the middle of 3 and 4, and that was kind of retaliation there. That little banging together off the corner.
Handful. The advantage, 30 car lengths. Todd Bodine. Mark Martin trying to clip it down. 165 complete. 35 to go this time by. Richard Lassiter onto pit road. Behind Bodine and Martin. Michael Waltrip third. Earnhardt to fourth.
See the distance right there from Todd Bodine back to Mark Martin.
And Martin's closing ground rapidly now.
Yeah, he had to pass several cars for position second, third, fourth, and now that he's got around them, that's exactly the side he's got. You're chasing the leader down. This thing of Marks will eat them up in these straightaways.
Devour that interval between himself and the leader, Bodine. Cuts it down to about 10 car lengths.
Drives off in one and cuts it down even more. Doesn't seem like that damage to the front of the car really affected a lot. They were smart of it. Steve Mill down in the pits. When you put that duct tape and start patching areas, if you'll patch it properly, not just cram something on it, put it where it needs to be, it doesn't seem to hurt it. And from what I see, it's not hurt it. Look here, kid, going for the lead.
And they enter lap 168, 167 complete. Mark Martin is back in command.
You know who's probably one of the happiest guys here? Jack Roush, standing on top of the top spotting. He's the guy that made the call that kind of got him behind. I guarantee you, Roush is glad to see Mark back up front because that kind of erased everything that happened before this.
Dramatic run by Mark Martin's put him back in front. Jack Roush looking on from about 110 feet above the racetrack here. Down to Mark Martin's pit.
Steve Meal is looking on at the racetrack level. Steve, if that battery goes bad from the field alternator, when will it go bad?
Well, knowing our luck, it'll go bad about 5 to go with us leading, but there's a million short track cars in the world don't run alternators, and we're pretty confident we can run 100 miles without one. We won the race here last fall. The Winston Cup car run about 300 miles without alternator, so we're kind of worried, but we're not really all tore all to pieces. We're just counting laps and seeing what happens.
I tell you what he's talking about there. All the short tracks across the country, you don't use alternators. You don't run fans, you don't run pumps. But Mark is compensated for that. He's turned everything electrical off in that car except the ignition system. And I think that they're going to make it.
Randy LaJoy has fallen to 9th, and he's about to go to 10th. as Ward Burton is picking it up in car number 2. He's got LaJoie. Ward Burton back to 9th position. Falls back to the field. Martin continuing to lead and now trying to draw away, but Todd Bodine isn't letting that happen. He's staying within 2-car lengths. Running just in front of Earnhardt with the number 23 car. Little is running 1 lap down. The Northwestern campaigner in 14th position. First car in that second lap. It's 14th Chad Little, 15th Schrader, 16th Kane, 17th David Green, 18th Joe Bessie, 19th Jeff Burton, and up to 20th Combs. Let's let them run through here so you can see where your car is running. Have a vested interest in running Grand National cars as a fan.
There comes Labonte. Mike Wallace, Walker. There was the car Burton running again, Jeff Burton. A lot of the cars had been to the garage area and fixed them and came back out on the racetrack.
13 cars on the lead lap.
Well, this is when you wonder how hard a guy's running. We've seen Mark Martin come to the rear of the field in a very short amount of time. Then he gets to the lead, and he knows how to lead. He leads by just enough to where, who says he can't drive a straightaway on the right side? But he's doing just what he needs to do. He's staying right in front of him.
For third spot, Michael Waltrip in the Pennzoil car, and the good wrench number 3 right behind him.
There's Earnhardt trying to jump right on the white line. He gets up under Waltrip. And on turn 4, they're side by side.
This battle about 2 seconds down from the lead.
Maybe if these two guys can get together, they might possibly run those leaders down. Nice quick pass, probably with the corporation. I mean, Mike Walker didn't fight a bit on that thing, Ken. I think he realizes, hey, he's that quick, let it go. Let me see if I can follow him to the front.
We'll take a commercial break as they come around to complete lap 174 here at Charlotte. And again, Mark Martin is in command.
Sunday on TBS. They're the laughing stock of the Army with one last chance to prove they're soldiers. In the tradition of the Dirty Dozen, William Holden, the Devil's Brigade. 10:35 Eastern, Sunday on TBS. In racing.
Break as we're into the final moments of the All-Pro 300. The Ray Vestas aerial platform giving us these shots as we get down to the end of this race. You see some of the crowd gathered. Double it for tomorrow, and you'll have yourself the Mellow Yellow 500.
Boy, Mark Martin's kind of laid back there just cruising. Done an excellent job today of having a problem, overcoming it, taking his time, working his way right back front. Now they're going to chase him for a while.
Martin first, Bodine second. Michael Waltrip, Chuck Bound, the top 5. Terry Labonte 6, Elliott 7, Bobby Donner 8, Ward Burton 9th, Mike Wallace 10th, Tommy Houston 11th, LaJoie is 12th, and Sterling Marlin is 13th. A lap down is Chad Little in 14th. The 99 car just back on the track. And that looks a little war weary out here.
You know, we talk about these point things all the time. As we were away, Ken Schrader pitted. That's going to move David Green up a few positions and help him on some point stuff. Boy, this thing looks like a modified now.
Ricky Craven came in here in 4th spot today. Smells blood in that point standing battle. With Nemechek down, Grissom down. Big opportunity. The 52, Schrader, on pit road a few moments ago, and the AC Delco car not coming back up.
Well, I'll tell you, they had Schrader was in the lap before. His crew chief had an appendectomy this week and is already back out here working on this car. Looks like they got some work to do. Having a problem with it. Schrader looks like he's out of it this time.
Battle for 7th position.
Bobby Donner, the 2-car Ward Burton, Mike Wallace, who was leading the race just a little while ago. They got to bumping and banging. Looks like he might have done something to Mike's car. He's fell out.
position. Chuck, you like to race here, but your luck hasn't been so good at Charlotte.
It's been a tough one for us. I love to race here. It's one of the best tracks to go to. Pays some of the most money we get to race for, and we're getting better. I think the last couple of times here we had a 12th and an 8th, and our engines are getting better. I'm excited about this one. We've got a chance.
Sure has given it a good ride today. He's been right up in the thick of it in the top 3 much of the way. At the moment, back in 5th. This moment, 183 complete as Mark Martin crosses the stripe. Todd Bodine, 12 car lengths behind him in 2nd. Then a big interval of a 2nd plus to Earnhardt running in 3rd. Michael Waltrip next and then bound in 5th. We were talking earlier about tomorrow's race, Neil, and with these new regulations, they talked about restrictor plates for Atlanta and for Charlotte. They get about 190 in the Winston Cup car going one here at Charlotte, 195 in Atlanta. And instead of restrictors, they've raised the cars up considerably, cut that air dam off on the front of them to try to slow them down. They got about 2 miles an hour off in qualifying. You think that it's going to make a bigger difference in speeds tomorrow, but the big story is the drivers have got to let off a little earlier. They've really got to plan on this track a little more. They got to drive these cars more. It's a driver's race.
Well, they've tried to mechanically slow them down, and you can't do that. These guys just continuously work on the motors and pick them back up. So what they're doing now, they're taking some of that security, some of that feel that you feel like you could hold it wide open and to drive deeper, getting the gas quicker. They're taking that feel away. I think the qualifying speeds we saw the other day aren't even a factor in this race. I think 15 or 20 laps into the race, the cars are going to be exceptionally hard to drive. All the drivers said, hey, we got to run way off the pace. The second half slower after 20 laps. It's going to put it back into the hands of the guys that really don't mind running sideways, running in the corner with a loose rear and running off the corner sideways. So it's going to be a whole different complexion than we've seen lately in racing.
Waltrip, Harry Gant.
And then you got Rusty Wallace, Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon, who's on. Here's Gordon on the pole. He's been driving sprint cars. He's not worried about running sideways. And I think you're going to see some of the guys that really want to hustle and hang it out. Yep, those kind of guys are going to be the people. I keep thinking, too, of Kyle Petty. He's got a technique here at this racetrack. Gets out of the gas early, coasts through the bottom, run around the bottom racetrack up. It's going to play into some of those guys' hands. It's going to put driving at a premium. The driver with a good feel is going to show up Sunday. And I'm telling you what, I'm not sure we're not going to see some beating and banging and sliding and bouncing off these walls until we get it sorted out.
Well, our Sunday drive begins at 1 o'clock tomorrow here on TBS. Sure hope you'll be along to enjoy the showdown at Charlotte. That's tomorrow. After that, Rockingham, then Phoenix, Arizona, and Atlanta, Georgia to decide the season. And Rusty Wallace has been closing in on Dale Earnhardt in that championship battle. Tomorrow is the one that really could be the fulcrum.
Let's go down to Todd Bodine's pit and see what's going on with his crew.
I have Clyde McLeod, Todd Bodine's crew chief, just giving his time. Clyde, y'all have anything for him? Do you have anything for him?
He's pretty strong, Mark. I mean, we're running about as hard as we can, trying to keep the distance between Earnhardt and ourselves the same. Unless Mark has a problem, I don't think we got enough for him.
You've had a great run. Thanks.
We worked all day on it. My guys did a great job. And I want to say hello to my mom and all my aunts and uncles back home in Connecticut. I'm sure they're watching it on TBS.
Good job. Hello, Mom and Uncles and Aunts.
In Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Hayes get paid for this kind of thing?
Let me tell you what. I'll tell you who would pay us is the people in the U.S. Tobacco Suite. It's the most peace they've ever had. We've got Hayes out of there working. 72 car, Tracy Leslie. Got a lot of damage on the right side of his car.
And Craven is also back on pit road as well. Tried to score some extra points, get a few more laps. It's not working, and I believe he's been told to bring the car back in. He is back to the garage area.
They have a minimum speed limit. I don't think he can get up to that speed and drive that car around this track.
10 laps to go. 10 to go. What a strange race this has been. Several periods of really great racing drama. And then it kind of sugars off. It backs away, and we're into that now as we get down to the end of it. Mark Martin went all the way to the rear, fought his way back up. LaJoy made a great story for us. We've got a car going up into the wall. That looks like Rodney Combs, number 1. Up there in turn 3 and 4, way on the outside. And yellow is coming out. Now we're going to get a shootout for the finish.
I'll tell you what, this is going to put a whole... I don't think anybody can afford to pit except the very guys on the end of the lead lap. I mean, they might be the only guys who are risking it to lose track position. Combs is getting his car moving again, so it's not going to be a long caution.
There are 13 cars in the lead lap. They are Martin, Bodine, Earnhardt, Waltrip, Bound, Labonte, Terry Labonte, Bill Elliott, Dodder, Ward Burton. Wallace is there, Houston, Marlin, and LaJoy. 13 cars in the lead lap. Chad Little is a lap down. The car that has caused the yellow, Combs number 1, was running in 19th. So the guys that could make some changes here would be probably those 9th place back to 13th.
Yeah, they don't have a thing to lose. They can pull right back where they're at.
Johnny Hayes has a report.
Yes, back down here with Clyde. Clyde, we had a caution come out. Does this help our chances any?
It's a little too late. Too late, too little now. I don't think anybody will pit. If they pit, we'll stay out, because that's the only chance we got. So, the old Fiddle Faddle US Chevrolet gave it all it could today, but I don't think we got enough.
Good job. Thanks.
I believe he made the right call, Ken. I don't think very many people will come down pit road.
Dick Berggren?
Yeah, Mark Martin just radioed his crew and said the car started to get a slight vibration. Jack Roush jumped in and said, don't worry about it. He's going to stay out there on the racetrack. Boy, can anything else happen in this 60 car, Ken? Okay.
Don't you always have a vibration here?
Let me tell you, I've been riding in those things at Daytona Talladega, and they say it's vibrating. They say don't worry about it. Well, you don't worry about it when you got your foot propped up on pit wall. But when you got your rear end sitting in that seat, you worry about it.
Here's Rick Benjamin.
Well, Ken and Neil, we're going to provide some honors here for Steve Meal, the crew chief for Mark Martin's team. Unbelievable what they've gone through today. The vibration, the broken alternator bolt, all that. Mark dominated the first half, had to start at the rear, come to the front. He's leading with a few laps to go. Steve Meal, our choice for the True Value Master Mechanic of today's All-Pro Auto Parts 300.
Good choice.
And you think we're not smart, Ken? Guess what? 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th pitted for tires. But the rest of them know better. That track position means too much to them.
So that means that the Joy came in. Marlin, Houston, Wallace, and Ward Burton. But the front guys, Martin, Bodine. Now, when Martin took off, that car did not come up to speed as fast as some others out here, right?
Well, he said one time there he wasn't picking up the fuel like he wanted to. I guarantee Mark will think about that. He'll wiggle that thing around. See, the fuel pickup is in the right side of the fuel cells. They're not over in the left. And when you're going slow speed, the fuel's on the wrong side of the gas tank.
24-degree bank.
That's right. They're made to run fast, sling the fuel to the right with momentum. When they run slow, they don't have any fuel over, so it takes a minute to pick it up.
193 complete as they come by, and they get a one-lap indicator.
I guarantee he'll wiggle it around pretty good in that back straightaway, shake it around, put some fuel over on that right side, clean those tires off, and he is going to try to check out when they drop this flag.
LaJoy pits again in number 20. That'll put him tail into that lead lap back in 13th. And David Green pits.
That's a good call to put the tires on, but they waited just a little late. They're going to put him right at the rear unless he can catch up real quick.
David Green coming out. Slim Jim car. Wear and tear of 300 miles at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 500 tomorrow. Winston Cup stars are here. Jeff Gordon out of Pittsboro, Indiana. Second rookie in 1993 to sit on the pole. Bobby Labonte did it up there at the great Richmond Speedway. Remind you, we'll be back at Richmond in March on TBS to bring you all the action. On that three-quarter-mile oval, pace car sidles down a little. Elmo Langley driving it. He drops it down into that second lane.
They said that Mike Waltrip has requested oxygen when the race is over, so he's not feeling that well. He's wanting to get some oxygen as soon as this thing's over. Sitting there running fourth.
Pace car in. Martin first, Bodine second, Earnhardt third, Waltrip fourth, Bound fifth. Terry Labonte sixth, Bill Elliott seventh, Goddard eighth, Marlin ninth, Mike Wallace in 10th. Here we go from lap 194.
Boy, Mark Martin got a good jump on that start. He got him about 3 car lengths. The draft should pull him. I tell you, the draft should pull him up to him down this one back straightaway. Then it's up to them what they can hand him or not. He got a great start. Going down right behind him, Earnhardt and Waltrip coming in.
Podvadine cuts it down to about 2 car lengths. Turns it a little sideways. Coming out of 4. Now or never. 5 to go.
I think what's vibrating in that 60 car is horsepower. The way that thing's running.
Of course, they run real mulish when you run them slow. As long as they're right up there performing at the level they're supposed to, they run pretty well. You take them down under a caution and the whole thing's going to look like a walking car. Back to a 4-car, 5-car length advantage. Mark Martin drawing away as he goes for win number 6. Bodine in second, under challenge. The good wrench, number 3 of Earnhardt there.
It looked like Todd Bodine's car is getting a little bit loose. It looked like he kicked the rear out the last 2 laps on the turn 4. When it does that, you just can't hold the car as low as you want to. Back in, try to slide out from under.
3.5 to go as they go down the back straightaway. Earnhardt closing in on Bodine. Michael Waltrip looks them over. An ailing Michael Waltrip as we get to the end of this race. Chuck Bound stays right there in 5th.
There goes Bodine sliding up again like we was talking about. He can't keep the car as low as he wants to at 3 and 4, which opens the door up. Got together coming through the trial-able section of the track, through the dogleg.
Earnhardt comes to second. A couple of laps to go, and they combine. Now Earnhardt fades way high in turn 2. Now Waltrip down to the inside. He goes under Todd Bodine.
When he got in the corner, Bodine got right in behind Earnhardt, got him loose, coming up off that corner. And now look at Waltrip. There's Bodine right up under the car of Mike Waltrip now. They're fighting for these positions now.
Earnhardt under heavy pressure from Chuck Bound. What a day for Bound. 3rd a week ago, and he's back. Car number 3, Earnhardt, almost caught up that time. Now Earnhardt's back after Todd Bodine. Unless something untoward mechanically happens. This is Mark Martin's race to win, but the rest of it's wide open. Here comes Earnhardt back on the inside, and he's up to 3rd.
I'm not so sure. I think Todd Bodine knocked the radiator grill back out of his car. Might have slowed him down. He's losing some ground.
Bill Elliott on the charge. He's up to 5th in car number 11. Back straightaway. Getting down to it. White flag this time by. And what a run here in the final moments. The 63 closing in. Chuck Bound moves in. Getting down to finish it.
It's a checkered flag coming right here.
Checkered flag coming up this time by. Checkered flag is out, and it's Mark Martin, the winner. Second will be Michael Waltrip. 3rd is Earnhardt. Earnhardt in 3rd, and Bill Elliott at the end gave it a tremendous run. Mark Martin successful here this afternoon for the 6th time this season. Any race he has finished in Grand National, he's won. Steve Grissom maintains his point lead over David Green by 45 at the end of this one. But it was Martin 1st, Waltrip 2nd, Earnhardt 3rd, Todd Bodine 4th, Bill Elliott in 5th. Let's see, Chuck Bound in 6th. I think we got one change to make with Bill Elliott. We'll tell you about that in just a moment. He's won, and he's down there now in victory lane. Mark Martin's there.
Yeah, taking a big slug of a drink, and he sure deserves it. Mark, with all the stuff that went wrong today, nearly running out of fuel just before the halfway point, the vibration at the end, the crash, the broken alternator bolt, are you surprised to be here or what?
Real surprised. It wasn't meant to be. You could see that early on. The Winn-Dixie car was really fast. I made a mistake that about cost us by getting us back in the field and almost caused us to get in a wreck and take us out. And, you know, I'm just glad that we had enough race car and that Winn-Dixie team got that thing in and out of the pits quick, and we made it up. And, you know, we outran some strong cars today.
Was this thing still strong at the very end as it was at the beginning? I mean, you had the alternator problem, the front end bashed in. Did it give up some?
It still ran just about as good. We might have had just a touch more drag down the straightaway than we had before, but handling was still the same. It'd been vibrating pretty bad since about lap 50, so maybe getting worse, maybe not. I thought maybe the alternator was the deal, but it just seemed to get maybe a little bit worse, and I was pretty concerned. It hasn't been meant to be for me here at Charlotte. These are the toughest races for me to win and some of the easiest ones to go fast in, but pulling them off has really been tough for us.
Congratulations to Mark Martin, winner here this afternoon at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yep, he's the winner now, but he'll be just a 7th place starter come 1 o'clock tomorrow in our TBS coverage of the Mellow Yellow 500. And they fought tooth and nail right to the finish line. Take a look at this, Neil. They got down to finish this one up. That's Todd Bodine on the outside. Earnhardt, as they fight their way to the finish. Not kidding around a bit out here.
I tell you, when it gets down just a few laps to go, it's time to set up on edge 8 seat. Go. What's here, Mark Martin? Excuse me. There's Bodine right in behind Earnhardt. They get, boy, tore a section off the back of somebody. It must have been the air panels out from under the back of Earnhardt's car. It looked like it wrapped it in the rear, because the only thing I saw on Bodine's car was the grill knocked in.
So Elliott came back to 4th, Earnhardt to 3rd. Todd Bodine wound himself up in the 5th position in car number 34. That's how they finished today here in the All-Pro Auto Parts 300 as we take a look at the unofficial final standings on today's race. Again, Mark Martin will come from 7th tomorrow. We get going in the Mellow Yellow 500. We have to leave you now. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Hope you'll be with us to enjoy all the competition at the Charlotte Motor Speedway of Winston Cup Racing tomorrow. For Randy Pemberton, Dr. Dick Berggren, Johnny